change it. Okay, and three.
Oh, leave it up, man. What are you talking about?
3, 2, 1. Welcome to the History of Bad Ideas, episode number 332. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
Blake.
I'm Jim.
And I'm the intern.
Hey! The full crew is here this week.
Welcome to
everyone.
Cinco de HOBI.
It is Cinco de HOBI, Revenge of the Fifth. And there we go. Kept my sombrero on. I'm all ready to go.
Your background is making that even worse now.
Okay, well, now I'm going to have to change it. Hold on.
Now you're giving me a migraine.
There you go. Is that better?
That's much better.
And I got a frozen margarita in my hand. So,
well, aren't you
prison
special?
margarita?
Not a frozen burrito, a frozen margarita.
Oh, I thought you said prison margarita.
Oh, wow. How much do prison margaritas cost, Blake?
I don't know. I was about to ask you. What's in there?
2 pack of smokes.
And a shiv.
Yeah, and a shiv. That's right. No, we got some Patron in my tequila, so we got some fancy stuff this week.
Patron
You've
in
got
your tequila?
What other kind of tequila did you put in your Patron?
Why don't you use Patron like that?
Shut up. I got my Patron and my margarita.
How many of those margaritas have you had so far, Jason?
1. This is my second. I think it's my second. So I put Patron in my margarita, I should say. I apologize. What you got over there, Brian?
Kentucky margarita.
Oh. Jeff, what are you drinking?
Not a damn thing.
Jim, you drinking?
I have some water.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Water.
Oh, okay. Blake, what are you drinking?
I had a Corona with my dinner. Now I'm drinking water.
Oh. Did you have a burrito for dinner, Blake?
No, but I had chicken soft tacos and a tamale and a salad.
Ooh.
You weren't one of those weird people that tried to celebrate Cinco de Mayo at Taco Bell, are you?
That was my original plan, and my wife said, fuck that.
Yeah, I agree with your wife. I went out to pick up dinner, and we were just fucking getting Burger King, but like the line to Taco Bell was like wrapped around the block.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, really?
She's going to Burger King.
Blake's a pretty...
You find that funny?
Yeah, no, she goes to Burger King for Cinco de Mayo, and you're making fun of people at Taco Bell.
I'm making fun of people going out of their way to go to Taco Bell to celebrate Mexican food. That's what I'm making fun of. I'm going away from them and getting fucking burgers.
Blake, did you have Corona or did you get Corona? What are you doing over there? Are you okay?
I was just cracking myself up.
Okay.
Is one Corona mean like a case of Corona?
No, one Corona, one slice of lime.
Anyway, yeah, we had chicken burritos too, Blake. We went all out for Cinco de Mayo and lime rice, lime flavored rice. So,
Yeah,
Brian,
my plan B is Chipotle.
Chipotle. Is that Mexican?
Yeah, we had tacos and rice and beans.
It's
McDonald's
more Mexican than Taco Bell.
You had tacos on Taco Tuesday.
I did.
Jim, did you have anything special for today?
We had tacos for dinner.
Okay.
Taco Bell?
And
Did you have Taco Bell?
Did not have Taco Bell.
Okay.
In honor of Revenge of the Sith, I went out and lightsabered 18 kids. So that was my I did both on Cinco de Mayo. So I did it in honor of Anakin.
You're lying. You didn't lightsaber a damned thing.
You didn't leave the house.
Yeah. You can't lie to us like that.
Wait a minute.
Those kids, they're all disease infested, germs. Come on.
That's true. That is true. I think we went to the butcher shop today for a pickup order, a carry out order, but we still went there. That counts. What's that?
Did the butcher shop have meat?
I did get. Wait a minute. What was that?
Did the
The
butcher shop
butcher
have?
shop have meat
They did have meat.
because the shortage in like beef products and every. So like you go to Wendy's, you can't get a double right now.
Really?
Yeah, they've started
Yeah.
taking stuff off their menu, like a lot of the different burgers, because they're running out of beef.
I know.
I hear Soylent Green's on sale.
Nice.
It's people.
So Jeff, did you get an Impossible Burger at Burger King?
If I did, they slipped it to me because that isn't what I ordered.
I want to try the Impossible Burger.
I never tried it, so I don't know if it tastes just like a Whopper or whatnot. But if I get an Impossible Burger, then I won't get my intake of beef fat.
Okay. So you're going to put you on the beef fat pills?
Yeah, and I don't want that.
We just went to the butcher shop because I wanted to place my order for Mother's Day. We were grilling out for my wife, so she asked for some stuff. So I thought, well, I might want to get it today.
Well, your kids are supposed to do that. It's their mother. Jeez.
I don't know what we would have eaten then. But when we got up there at 4 o'clock today, they said between today and Friday they have 320 orders.
I believe it.
Wow, that's a whole lot of meat. That's a whole lot of food. So
That's a good thing.
yes. So, anything exciting for anybody today, this week? Anything going on?
Going back to work.
Are you okay?
Well, I'm taking a cut in pay to do so, but yeah.
Why are you taking a cut in pay?
Because unemployment paid more than what I was making.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, I saw that because not only are you getting the bonus, they're the $1,200, but they're giving them like a bonus $600.
Yeah, the federal government was adding $600 to a week.
Yeah.
Plus, and I'm like, that's almost what I make a week. I don't know. Plus, I'm getting the half a salary from the Ohio unemployment. So I'm like, sweet. I could do this forever.
So, what are you back to a schedule now?
Yeah, I'm back to my Monday through Friday.
Do you have to wear a mask or a bandana?
Yeah, I suppose when people walk in the office, I do.
Jim, how are you doing?
I actually got out and did some social distancing at the golf courses yesterday. I played 36 holes on 2 different courses, and then I fell asleep.
Was there a lot of...
The first course we went and played at the Grizzly course up by Kings Island here, and there was a lot of people there. And then some of our friends work at the TPC Rivers Bend course, and it's Monday, so the course was closed to guests, and so we played with the some employees up there, and that course was absolutely empty, but we had to walk.
You can't use golf carts?
Well, the course was closed, so we didn't want to get out in golf carts just for a couple of the employees. So we get to got exercise in yesterday.
Gotcha.
They shouldn't allow golf carts anyway. If you're golfing, you should have to walk.
So that's Casey Martin.
I will. I told it back in the 90s. I'll tell it again.
That's right, Jeff. You stick to it. Nothing exciting over here. Blake, did you watch Westworld?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking people are going to be downloading this podcast tomorrow, listening to it, and Jim is doing a spot-on Peanuts parent. We're all pretending we're understanding what he's saying, but yeah.
I understood what he said.
Yeah.
Maybe I should drink like 6 Coronas and then you'd understand me.
Oh,
hey, I heard that better.
Yeah, now all of a sudden your audio is better.
If somebody doesn't stop clicking a pen, I'm going to fucking go through this thing. It comes up on the audio recording. Put it down.
It's not.
My hands are under the table. It's not me.
Oh, it's me.
Wait a
Stop
second.
it, Jeff, because it comes up on the
That
audio.
didn't sound right.
There's no table for me to slap my hand down on.
So last week when I was editing, quote unquote, the podcast and putting it up, there was like a 10-second thing. I kept hearing the clicking, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And I keep looking, and I'm looking at the video that we have that we put up. I'm like, "Fucking somebody's touching the pen. Who's got the pen? Damn it! Stop it, Jeff. Do something else. Masturbate, whatever. I don't care."
No, don't do that.
He's got video.
Yeah, you have video showing me right now. I don't think you really want that.
I don't see your hands. It's okay.
Yeah, but if I whipped it out, everyone would then see it.
Okay, Idris.
How do you know if he's actually wearing pants?
I don't care as long as I don't have to see it. I see a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, speaking of bad video, did you see the Mexican newscaster that his mistress was in the background on his telecast? We put on our
Spanish,
Facebook page.
not Mexican.
I thought it was in Mexico.
It was in Spain.
It was in Spain.
Oh, was it in Spain?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
in Spain. I guarantee you, she did that on purpose. Guarantee.
So sorry, I apologize. Spanish in Spain, newscaster was recording from his home, and I guess it was live.
Recording. He was live doing the
Yeah.
live TV interview.
And his mistress walked by half naked, and
in the background.
And I guess he was dating somebody from Big Brother over in Spain. And
reality TV star.
Yeah, so she broke up with him.
Huh.
What? Why?
Oh,
Even after he apologized?
Was he married?
No.
Then it's not a mistress.
Yeah, he did apologize.
He apologized on the air the next day. How did she not take him back?
I'm sorry I got caught. I'm sorry I got caught. And Blake, you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if she did it on purpose just to get rid of the other girl, the other woman.
That's called evil side chick right there. I'm quarantining with your boyfriend.
It still amazes me that in this day and age that I know that, video is still, I don't know, 40 years old, 50 years old in terms of at-home use. But I'm like, how do people still fuck this up? Like, how is that possible? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. People are going into the shitter with it, on their office meetings. They're doing this and that. I'm like, what? There was another news reporter that her husband was taking a shower and she was in the bathroom, like doing beauty tips it was in U.S. It was in America. She was a newscaster. Mm-hmm. And she was doing beauty tips in her bathroom and her husband's naked in the fucking background in the shower. And I'm like, how the hell do you not figure this out? You hear the shower going. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I know. I completely agree. You got to remember, you think you're the person with the average intelligence. Just remember that person you think is average. Half of everybody else is stupider than that person. So you got to remember and put it in that perspective. But on the flip side, a lot of the stuff is really entertaining and pretty funny.
It is.
The other side is you don't know what's authentic anymore. That's the other problem. You see this stuff on social media. You don't know if that was planned, if that was set up. Everything from things that are supposed to be funny to events of discrimination to horrible things. And I'm like, how do you know this stuff is real anymore? Or then sometimes you're like, just do people actually do this? But then sometimes reality is weirder than real life. So
speaking of weirder, what about Westworld?
Okay. Okay. Am I the only one who saw the finale?
I watched it.
I haven't.
All right. Well, here's
never seen an episode.
Well, I know intern, you're gonna have to listen because that's your job. Jim, you can tune me out for a minute or two, but I'll tell you what. It ended. The ending was the storylines ended. I would probably say good, but they didn't end them correctly in order. I really think it was kind of humorous. William goes on this tear, this story arc tear that, he's realized he's going to save the fucking earth. He's going to save all of mankind. And then he goes He gets whacked in the most funniest way. I mean, his ending literally took probably 60 seconds total. I mean, seriously, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go save the world." Boom, boom, boom. Oh shit.
His storyline is not over.
Yeah, well, technically, yes, but that storyline there with what's her name, the other, oh crap, the other Dolores inside of what's her name's head,
Hale.
yeah, they should have done that first. Then they should have done the great ending where they're pumping in Dark Side of the Moon instrumental, and Caleb is on the catwalk at night, and there's shit going on and blowing up in the far background, the city lights, and Maeve is like, and he's like, well, what's next? And she's like, whatever the fuck you want, basically, we finally have our own freedom of choice, more or less, and like great music, boom, boom, Dark Side of the Moon. It should have ended there. And then when it ends there, in the credit scenes, they should have buried a credit scene like they do in the Marvel movies, where Bernard, aka Arnold, reanimates and he's covered in dust. And it looks like he's been sitting in that motel room for like decades. And then so of course they set that up for season 4, et cetera, et cetera. So, but that's my opinion. That's the way I think it should have ended.
So now everyone knows how the show ended.
Yeah.
I actually zoned out.
Not really, but but that's what would you agree? They did the ending of the story arcs were a little out of order. I mean, in the irony that Sirach was actually a slave to Rehoboam, he didn't have freedom of choice either. Ultimately it's freedom. Ultimately there's a lot of allegories going on. But
was it better than second season?
Better than the second season. I think it started off with a lot more promise, but as the story plot unfolded, I was a little disappointed that it could have been a little something else, but it was okay. It was definitely better than season 2. Not as good as season 1. How many times are things better than season 1? Not often, but
The Office.
Yeah.
No.
The
Office got better after season 1.
But somebody else who saw the ending, do you think the story arcs ended out of order? I think the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon with Maeve and Caleb on the catwalk at night with the bombs behind them was an awesome ending. But that would have been it.
Well, that was pretty much the ending, and then the other stuff were and this is also going on. But I mean, that was kind of like your, as you called it, your post-credit type stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, they could have put that they could have ended it there, then go into credits, and then they could have had 2 Marvel credit scenes, right? They could have done Williams', goofy ass ending, and then they could have done, Bernard Arnold's ending. So.
I'm now caught up on pretty much anything I wanted to watch, so I am ordering HBO tomorrow and starting Westworld since it's all one season now up there, so I can just binge watch. So I'm pretty happy with that now. So hopefully by next week I will be caught up. So because it's only 8 episodes. So, Brian, did you see it? Have you watched anything?
I watched Extraction over the weekend on
Which one
Netflix.
was that?
The new Chris Hemsworth.
How'd you get out of that?
How did I get out of it?
Yeah. How were you extracted?
Oh, I see what you did there. I thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
They're making a second one.
Yeah, I just saw that. They already signed on to do a second one.
I watched 45 minutes of Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Ugh. Oh my god. I love Jay and Silent Bob. I love Kevin Smith. That was not good. It was worse than Tusk. That's how bad it was.
Oh wow, no. What? I mean, I'll admit it was disappointing, but I won't say it was that terrible.
I think the reason is I can't handle Jay as the main character. That character annoys the shit out of me for more than 5.
I don't know how you watch Jay and Silent Bob straight back.
Anything with him in it.
in doses, like I can handle it in like 5 minutes. What's that, Jim?
I was about to say that. You're saying exactly what I was just about to say. Go ahead and finish. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I was going to say I can handle him when he's in it for 5 minutes and then they go to something else. Yeah, and then 5 minutes and then something else. Okay, I'm fine with that. But it was not good, and I really was looking forward to it, and I had to turn it off. And Jim, I think you said something about his daughter Harley, right? That she annoyed you.
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
Oh, so are we done with the Westworld talk? I just got back on.
Yes, we're done. We're talking Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Jeff, I agree. Harley is annoying as fuck in it too. She was not a good actress. She is not good.
It's like, it's great you want to give your kid a job and all, but yeah, that didn't work out as well as you hoped or even probably thought it did.
What was she in? What else was she in? She was in another one.
Yoga Hosers.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. And
I
she
still
was
get to see that.
She was in Tusk.
Oh, like one quick scene or something.
Yeah. And but yeah, I tried and it was horrible. I couldn't handle it.
Do you think his shtick's been fucked out?
I think it hurts like as you get older.
I think he just ran out of ideas. Well, like it's like, oh, I've got this idea and this idea, and he's like a whole bunch of ideas that he wants to throw into a movie, but nothing of it was cohesive. So it was like, oh yeah, we'll go on a road and we'll go do this and we'll go do that, and it's like he's having fun, he's working with his friends, but the story just has no traction.
It's just turned into a Sandler trip, Sandler movie. Yeah, let's make another movie with all my friends and we'll just have fun and fuck off.
At least Sandler is, whether the plot's shitty or not, it is. But at least Sandler, it's a cohesive plot. Like, you at least have something, a beginning, a middle, and an end. This one, well, I only saw 45 minutes.
You didn't see the end.
I couldn't tell you what the whole fucking plot is.
Well, you didn't see the whole plot, but I mean, there is a plot to it, but it just had a lot of loosely affiliated stuff to the plot thrown in because, oh, I like this idea. Did you get to the Chris Jericho scene?
No.
Again, that entire scene had absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
I just feel like we're getting, like, when it was really popular and really huge, I feel like the older we get, the less funny it gets. Like, it's just not as funny to me now as it was 15, 20 years ago.
I would like to see how Clerks ages. I feel like Clerks could still do well.
Yeah. I saw Clerks a couple of weeks ago.
Does it age well?
It's a little slower and awkward than what I remembered it, than I remembered it to be. But I think I still cling to it because when I was 20 something and I first saw it, I thought it was great.
I thought Clerks 2 was really good. I enjoyed Clerks 2. I know people hate it. Some people hate it. I enjoy Clerks 2, and I think it's because they are growing up the characters and about his choices in that. But it was still funny.
Wait a minute. Growing up.
They
weren't growing up. They were stuck in time. Everything else.
Yeah, but at the end, they realized they needed to do something.
Yeah, like get a horse fuck show, donkey show.
Oh my god. And you ready, Blake? A, B, C, easy as 1, 2, 3.
Jiggle, 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 jiggle.
That's what I did. I love hearing you say jiggle.
You just love picturing what jiggles.
She is a beautiful woman. God, Rosario.
Woman.
Cheers.
I did also. We did also finally watch Birds of Prey this weekend.
Your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. It was a little slower than I thought it was going to be.
Did you like the Birds of Prey coming together in the very beginning? Oh no, they didn't do that.
No.
Did you like the Birds of Prey forming in the last 5 minutes of the movie? 5 minutes,
yeah. That was the only part where I was kind of like, oh, that kind of sucks. But overall, I enjoyed it. I mean, be curious to see where they go with it.
Pan, Brian. Pan.
Put the pen down. I'm coming through this thing.
You can edit it out, Jason. Shut up.
I can't edit it out. Damn you. So I did I'm sorry, Jim, did you watch anything this week?
Nothing of note, really.
Okay.
The only thing I really want to talk about is the video of the girl singing "What's Inside My Butthole."
My butthole.
What?
That then Josh Radnor and his friend did a expanded on the song. It was all released yesterday.
I did not see that.
I saw that you
I
shared.
tweeted at you.
I saw that part, but I didn't know what it was about.
So
It's on
this
my butthole.
lady, her 8-year-old daughter.
4-year-old.
Yeah, that's younger than 8.
Yes.
So she came up with a song that's called "What's in Your Butthole." Hang on, I'm finding it now. I'm gonna find it on Twitter here.
Is that Ted Mosby's best acting?
I didn't watch it. Fuck
Jim?
him.
Is that Ted Mosby's best acting?
It was Josh Radnor. I wasn't really acting; he was singing, and it was actually pretty good.
Okay.
I wonder what's inside your butthole. I wonder what's inside your butthole. Maybe there's astronauts, maybe there's aliens all inside your butthole. What's inside your butthole? I always want to know. What's inside your butthole? I always want to know. What's inside your butthole?
I always want to know what's inside a butthole.
I heard a remix where they mixed it together and had the actual music going. And
maybe it's aliens, maybe it's astronauts. Who knows?
But I didn't hear the Josh Radnor version yet.
If you're a parent, why would you put that out there in the world for everybody to watch?
Because it's funny.
Eh.
It was funny.
You're a parent.
I've already changed it. That's my ringtone now.
They probably was joking around with it, and I think that's something that's probably staged. There you go.
It wouldn't surprise me. It goes back to Blake, what's real and what's not.
It is, exactly.
And does it matter, though? If it looks real, does it matter if it was staged?
And then you're even worse.
The funny thing is you see all these musicians who are tweeting it Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 was like, this was an original Blink-182 song that we never published, so we're gonna need some royalties from this. And then Haley from Paramore, I'm suddenly self-conscious about my album because if I'm honest, it'll never be as good as this. So.
Not only was it Cinco de Mayo, it is Revenge of the Sith because yesterday was Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
Brian wants to reach through the phone or the computer and strangle you right now, Jason.
Come on, Brian. May the 4th be with you. Come on. Come on, Brian. Come on.
Now you're making him drink.
Every time I say Star Wars, do you have to drink?
Just the May the 4th be and the May the 5th. Just bullshit. So stupid. I hate it.
I do like that.
Sorry.
I do like that everybody was talking last year, at the end of the year, 2020 is going to be great. Cinco de Mayo is on a Tuesday for Taco Tuesday. 4th of July is on a Friday or Saturday. Halloween's on a Saturday and all this. And then it's 2020 came in and it's fuck it. We're all screwed. We're staying inside anyway. So it doesn't matter if it is on a good day or not. Even Cinco de Mayo, we can't go out. So, but anyways, the 4th of July or May 4th. May the 4th be with you, Brian. I was on Cinema Guys live stream last night on YouTube. You can check it out on their YouTube channel, Cinnamon.
Cinnamon Guys. All right.
The Cinema Guys podcast on YouTube, or go to our Facebook page at the History of Bad Ideas, and there's a link to it. So I do want to say just real quick, thank you to those guys, Brad and Justin, everybody, for letting me come on. We got to talk Star Wars for 2 hours, and the best part was what.
Brian's eyes just bugged out when you said that. Oh, great.
2 full hours of that.
The
Sounds
best
awesome.
part is the MVP of the whole thing was one of our HOBI listeners, Brian Auer, A-U-E-R. He was awesome. He was feeding us questions, and he was answering our questions that we had no answers to. So, because you can live stream with us. So I appreciate that. That was a good time.
So they should have him on, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know why I was on, but he should have been on above me. I did ask to get the I was bitching because they don't really make any toy play sets anymore about Star Wars. It's all that Lego stuff. And I wanted Jabba's sail barge, the giant one. And he sent me a link that you can buy it. They had made one 2 years ago for $500. It's 4 feet long. It's for the 3 3/4 inch guys, and damn, is it impressive! But $500 for it.
Just take one of your kids' stimulus money.
Yeah, you got stimulus.
I bought
That's
a
what it's
tiger.
for.
I bought a tiger, Brian. I can't.
I want to see it.
He's still a kitten, so just be really nice to him.
You paid $1,200 for my Dalmatian.
Joe Exotic, help me!
That's a great Nicolas Cage impression.
Thank you.
Oh, that's terrible.
Nicolas Cage is playing Joe Exotic in a Netflix miniseries movie.
Miniseries.
Is it Netflix? I don't think it's Netflix.
I don't know who it was from, but it was a miniseries.
It's Netflix. I'm pretty sure Netflix is doing it.
Netflix. And that's the thing. It's like, why is Netflix even doing this? I know they're trying to cash in, but they've showed everything in that documentary. You can't show much more. Unless they just did
Nicolas Cage doing it.
Unless that's the only thing Netflix is like, we're not really interested. We got Nicolas Cage. Done. Let's do it. Let's see what he does. So,
the only thing that can make the Joe Exotic story even less palatable is putting Nick Cage in it.
Cash in while it's hot.
I want to take his face off.
I would much rather have Nicolas
It's
Cage.
from CBS.
Oh, CBS.
It's from CBS TV Studios.
Don't know where it will actually be shown.
So they're basing it off of Netflix's series.
It's a shot-by-shot remake. That's all it is. It's just Nicolas Cage on a shot-by-shot.
Based on a true story. They could take some artistic liberties.
He's riding a tiger.
Are they going to show Carol actually killing her husband in that one?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly killing her husband in that one?
Yeah,
I just want to
spraying his shoes with what kind of oil was that?
Oh God. Yeah, so the tigers would go after her feet or go after her.
Yeah,
I just want to see Nicolas Cage say Carol Baskin's that bitch. I just want to see it.
Carol fucking Baskins.
That bitch. Back to the May 4th. In honor of Star Wars Day, our Twitter poll of the week was, what is your favorite Star Wars film? And you can go to us at Bad Ideas Podcast and vote next week when we have it. Another poll. So this was pretty neck and neck. And then in the last, I would say 3 hours before it closed, everything jumped to one. The options first off were A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Rogue One, or Other. Three of these films tied with 18% of the vote. And it's not like we only had 15 votes. We had a decent amount, and 3 of them had 18%. The winner with 46%, Empire Strikes Back. There was a huge push for Empire at the end. So,
not a surprise.
No. So people were saying one person had Return of the Jedi for Other. They said that just because the battles were nice, and they really enjoyed the battles and the lightsaber fight.
I might have voted Return of the Jedi if they didn't in the special movies, get rid of the Yub Nub song.
Yum nub. It is kind of fun. I was talking about this on the live stream last night.
Inside your butthole. Sorry. It's stuck in my head.
Now I'm picturing Ewoks singing that.
There you go.
You could probably fit an Ewok in your butthole.
How big do you think my butthole is?
Well, I'm not saying you specifically.
Well, we got a title for the episode now.
I think you could probably squeeze Wicked in there. No, it was. I was watching when I was working yesterday. I had all the Star Wars movies on because TBS had it or TNT, and they had a New Hope on, and it was the special edition that they added Jabba back into the mix. So Greedo gets killed, and the next scene they show is Han talking to Jabba, which takes place after that. Yeah. And in the background, there's Greedo, same exact outfit and everything, still alive in the background. They didn't even edit him out.
It wasn't Greedo.
It
was another guy of the same species wearing the same uniform.
Sure.
Because that species has a specific uniform they're allowed to wear.
1970s leisure jacket.
Yes. Like the Mandalorians have their armor.
So Greedo can never take off that scarf thing that he's wearing, the ascot.
Well, Jason, I saw one scene where a stormtrooper died, and the next scene in the background there was the same stormtrooper.
What? You probably think they all look alike too, Jim, don't ya?
All white stormtroopers look alike.
Damn racist! Get off the air! Get out of here!
Says the white guy wearing a sombrero.
We're all about cultural appropriation on HOBI.
Yeah, cultural appropriating the Mexican heritage, Jason. Good job.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Actually, you're paying homage to the Three Amigos, which is what actually celebrates the Cinco de Mayo. It's what it's all about.
But
that's right.
We're in America. There's no such thing as cultural appropriation. We're the great American melting pot. All cultures are part of our culture.
Elizabeth Warren is 1/50th Native American. I think could be 1/50th something.
I'm sorry. I think that's more like 1/5000th.
Yeah. Elizabeth Warren, I think that's just bullshit. I'm just going to go with that.
I do say the only positive thing that's really come out of the pandemic is that I don't have to go to my place of employment and deal with fucking assholes coming in on days like Cinco de Mayo and St. Paddy's Day and just being obnoxious fucks.
Oh, I'll be honest. I'm very happy the quarantine's going on, so if I did have to go to any place, I don't have to deal with them. Especially downtown where I work, it's a pain. So I'm with you, Jim. I'll agree with you on that. But don't you get decent tips on those days?
No.
Really? No, those are the worst tipping days.
We make money on pure volume, and so it's just. And these are the worst people coming out. I'm going to go out and get drunk because it's Cinco de Mayo. That's stupid. Or New Year's St. Paddy's Day. I need 17 car bombs. No.
And by car bombs, you're talking the drink, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I am really I'm really thinking that the next St. Paddy's Day, when we're there and somebody orders a car bomb, one of my fellow bartenders, Mike Pierce, is probably going to blow up the person's car.
Oh, good, Jim. Call him out now that when that happens.
What if they ask for Irish whiskey? What are you going to do then?
Pour them some Jameson or some Bushmills.
Oh, okay.
What about
Irish
snake
whiskey?
Give them some Crown Royale.
Make sure you put some Patron in the
tequila.
And if a car got blown up in Dana's parking lot on St. Paddy's Day, the first person to look at is Pierce. I am not calling him out for anything. Everybody knows this already.
On a side note, if you're in Cincinnati, don't forget you can order food at Dana's Gardens in Cincinnati, Ohio. Jim could cook it for you. So
yeah, just don't order a car bomb.
To go. It's okay. You can order a car bomb to go. It's fine. Are you selling alcohol, Jim?
Yes, we are.
Okay, that's what I thought.
You're allowed
two
two liquor drinks with a food purchase.
Yeah, because we ordered from the local bar here in my town on Friday, and they're like, "Would you like a margarita with that?" And my wife's like, "Damn, you're straight! Throw that margarita in there." So
the local bar.
Why don't I get called?
Your town has a bar.
We have two. Thank you. 2.
You got more than 2.
4. We got 4. Do it again. It's going up to 8. Just keep going, Jeff.
Well, you got the concert venue where all the bands play. All the
we do have a concert. We do have a concert. We do have a we do have a bar that does a lot of cover bands. Unfortunately, Chris Jericho's group Fozzy was supposed to be here in July. They are not coming now. Quite disappointed.
Oh, you suck, 2020.
Damn you. Before we get into listener feedback, we did just get 2 questions. And since Blake won't see them because he's not on Twitter, I'll do this before we get into Blake's official listener feedback. Pittsburgh Nerd wants to know, what are your thoughts on Florida allowing crowds for live sporting events? Who do you think will be the first one to allow crowds? The UFC, WWE, or AEW wrestling? Anybody?
WWE.
They're bringing everything.
If that's my choice, that's who I think will be the first, because I mean they didn't want to get rid of the crowds in the first place. They don't care about the health, they just care about the money.
Yeah, I'd say WWE probably.
Dana White might push for live crowds at a fight. So UFC.
Who is coming out of this quarantine looking worse, Dana White or Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Well, since I have no clue what Dana White's been saying or doing, I'll say Vince McMahon.
On a side note, though, Dana White is building his own island, a fight island, which is
that's kind of cool.
That's like pure James Bond evil scientist right there.
It is.
But they're not fighting to the death.
You think? Jim, there are no rules on Fight Island.
Although, since we're talking about fights, did you guys see the awesome fight that was just signed?
What's that?
The Beast versus the Mountain. Hafthor Julius Bjornsson versus Eddie Hall.
No.
World's Strongest Man 2017 versus World's Strongest Man 2018 to a boxing match.
It's a boxing match?
A boxing match.
Shouldn't they be like lifting stones or something instead of fighting?
They are taking... it started when Bjornsson set the new deadlift record, but he set it in a non-competition, like just doing it in his gym thing or something. So Eddie Hall...
kilograms?
501 kilogram. I saw it said he decimates like 1 kilogram over. It was Eddie Hall had it at 500 kilograms. Bjornsson set it at 501, but it wasn't in any competition or anything. It was just him lifting it on camera. So how official that is or whatnot, I don't know. So Eddie Hall was pretty much saying, I know you can do it. I know blah, blah, blah. But I mean, you're, got to do this in competition. Otherwise you're just, being a, strutting for no reason type shit. And so they kind of went back and forth on Twitter, and some fight promoter said, hey, sent them contracts, and they both signed.
So it's going to look like 2 drunk Tyrannosaurus Rexes fighting.
Well, it won't be for another year and a half. So they got till like September of 2021 to
get into fighting,
prepare for it. Yeah.
I think it'd be more interesting if they both had to pick a tree trunk and beat the shit out of each other with the tree trunks. That sounds like
that.
World's Strongest Man beat down.
Did anybody see there was a video released like 2 years ago just a small little clip of a sparring match between Bjornsson and McGregor. Conor McGregor. And is big and is tough that people think Conor McGregor is. Conor McGregor made the comment, "One punch and he'd kill me." Because the size, like Bjornsson has him by almost like 180 pounds.
Yeah, and like a foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just ragdolling him around. Like it was really funny.
They did say.
Go on,
I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
The other thing, I don't know if Jeff has seen the show that was on History Channel. It's The Strongest Men in History.
Is that the one that Eddie Hall and
Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, who are the other two guys?
Oberst.
Yeah, Robert Oberst and the old guy,
Nick Best.
Nick Best, yes.
Magnus for Magnuson?
No, he is. Magnus for Magnuson was there when Bjornsson set the world record.
Mm.
He is one of the judges.
He's moved on to judging now. He's retired into judgment.
He's coaching and broadcasting.
Okay.
I've seen him do all of those.
Nice.
Yep. But if you haven't seen The Strongest Men in History, was actually pretty interesting. Like I think it's 8 or 9 episodes.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the episodes.
Welcome to World's Strongest Talk.
If you want to do an entire episode on it, we can.
Yes,
Next up is laundry talk.
So we can start in 1977, and we can talk about the big feud between. Oh, now I'm on the spot, blanking on their names.
Oh crap!
Jim, you could just make up names and nobody's going to call you out on it.
I would not do that.
Was it Reinhold?
Yeah.
Reinhold, Bob Reinhold and damn it,
Jim Crane.
No.
Oh.
But they did have guys like Ivan Putski and
Patera.
Ken Patera. They were in it. They didn't come close to winning. The powerlifter guy won it.
Is that before or after Patera went to prison?
I'm guessing before, because he wasn't in prison.
It is.
It was Bruce Wilhelm and Don Reinhardt.
Okay, yeah.
Something to go along with Sean's question from Pittsburgh Nerd. Miami Dolphins did announce that they're trying to get certified by whatever health organizations down there in Miami. That when the football season does start, whenever that is, supposedly as of now, September, that their stadium will hold 65,000. They're going to allow 15,000 in, is what their goal is. And instead of just doing a free-for-all when the gates open, they're going to designate each gate. You have to stand 6 feet apart. You have to get designated times. So, Jeff, if you had, the game starts at 1, you would have 11:30. You're at gate 1. Your tickets. Brian, you're at gate, 3 for your tickets. So at 11:45. So they would kind of separate everybody. They would let you go in. The Dolphins would also, instead of going up to the concessions, you would actually just order it from your seat, and they would ding you on. They would send you a message on your phone to go get it when it's ready. So they're trying to toy with that idea. As of now, the NFL hasn't said that they're going to let fans in, but the Dolphins are basically taking a proactive approach and said, we can do this if you base it on this, this, and this, and they were given ideas about it.
Well, they are in Florida, so they're not going to pay attention to social distancing anyway.
You know what? As fucked up as Florida is, now you could say it's also because their testing has not been strong, but they do have low death rates in Florida right now.
Did you actually hear that they are not allowed to report their rates?
That could be the reason why they have low death rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're stopped reporting their numbers.
I was trying to go with it, Jeff.
No, Florida is part terrible. Of the problem.
Yeah. That just sounds like it would be terrible.
Like,
I'd rather just watch it from home.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed going to the games, and I love my seats. But if I have to get there like at 11 o'clock and stand around for 2 hours before the game starts, and I'm just going to stay home.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's going to be no tailgating or anything.
Hold on
like
a
that.
second. Yeah, I was about to say, as long as you have a beer, isn't that called tailgating?
But you'll be inside the stadium, and you'll have to pay the stadium prices.
But if you're drinking a beer, doesn't that kill the coronavirus?
Oh, definitely.
Only if it's a car bomb, an Irish car bomb.
Or a flaming Dr. Pepper.
Just thinking about how terrible they crowd control is trying to get into the Bengals stadium. Like, there's zero possibility that they could ever organize it that good.
Oh, yeah.
They would be able to pull it off.
You're going to have 40,000 people just show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you mean I have a time to get in here?
Yeah. Nobody told me. I got a ticket. Let me in.
My issue is, though, that it's tough to watch. I don't know if I could. It's going to be tough to watch the sports without crowds. Like, it's tough to watch wrestling without crowds. I don't know if baseball will be as bad.
I'd have no problem watching real sporting events without a crowd.
Right. I agree with you.
Because they play up to the crowd, and it's kind of part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But a football game, I could give two shits whether what the crowd's doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
A baseball game, I get if I see somebody gets a home run and they throw the ball back, I just get annoyed at them.
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like I would almost enjoy watching the sports more without the fans, just because it's a different experience and you actually you're not distracted away from things by the crowd.
Like, Blake would hate it because he'd miss out on the the girls standing behind the plate at the World Series showing their tits.
Yeah, that's true. If there's no crowds, I'm going to be a little upset.
I don't know. There was that one game in Baltimore that they played a couple of years back with no crowds, and
I think it depends on the
nothing's
sport,
wrong
though.
with the game.
I say if you're the home team, you're allowed to. Here's what I
Pipe in noise.
Pipe in noise, but it can't be fake noise. You have to have a mega 20,000 Zoom watch party for your home team, like they did the NFL, where you're piping in the fans from the internet for their draft picks when their picks were up, and you got to stick them on the board, and they didn't, the big screen, and then they got to be as loud as possible.
I think they should do a laugh track. I think they should be allowed to use a laugh track.
That's true. That'd work. That'd work as well.
Hey, it would be great because you could actually hear when the opposing players coming up to bat or something, and they play really bad songs for them.
Plus, I think
what's in my butthole? I want to know what's in my butthole. We'll do that for every player.
I feel like they could, if they would. This is a big if, because I don't think that any of the commissioners would do it, but if they would give the players kind of just go out and have fun, and don't take it as serious as they would want them to, or let them do what they wanted to an extent, to where they just have fun with it. They could do it and do it well. I think I would love to see either baseball, football without fans. It wouldn't bother me at all.
I don't think baseball would bother me because I feel like they're spaced apart. It's not like a closed field. And again, I know, it's kind of like football. Like, it's a tight field. You see the crowd on it. With baseball, it's so widespread. I don't think I would notice it as much in baseball. But
would the Tampa Bay Rays even notice?
They already have a social distancing rule. They only allow 15,000 into their stadium too, Jeff. It's okay.
Were they playing the Yankees or something? Or was it a playoff? Did they make the playoffs?
They did make the playoffs. I will say, it's one of those things that you don't notice it until it's gone. And I really miss Major League Baseball. Like, I miss baseball a lot. Hell, I miss baseball in general. I miss coaching my son's team. Like, I was telling my wife the other day that it's killing me. Like, I really miss being out there. And as corny as it sounds, like teaching the kids and coaching the kids, because it's so much fun to do. Like, I've missed that a lot. And that's the one thing in the quarantine. Like, I'm a pretty, isolated person. I don't mind being that way. But I've never realized how much I miss, like, baseball in general, between professional and even my kids' baseball. That's the one thing I've missed, I think, above anything. Especially just having it on and watching the Reds and that.
So do you miss our Friday softball league?
I miss gathering with you guys afterwards.
Don't miss playing, though?
I do enjoy playing. I do. Even my wife said to this week that she's like, you've been a little bit more down this, in the last week or so. I was like, yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's because it's spring and you can't do spring stuff.
Well, she was saying, she's like, I think part of it is just like, obviously we're doing this on, Skype, and, this is great. I mean, it's awesome that we're all here, but she's like, I think you missed the, like, actual interaction of in the studios. And I was like, I do. I mean, that is the fun aspect of our show, that we're lucky that everybody's local. Not all podcasts are like that. Or there are, but I mean, not, as famous as us.
Not any as good as the crew.
330 episodes in, they're not still gathering every week. So I like I said, I think those are the things that, like I said, I do miss. Like, I miss game night. I miss game night. That's been rough. So we're going to have to do a game night on Skype, I think, one night. Jeff, can we do that? Yes, I got that card.
Yeah, that's true. Just not being able to play softball and hang out on a nice, cool spring, summer evening is kind of annoying. I was like, I'm all for getting back to normal, and I'm all, let's get the herd immunity thing going. Let's go.
Yeah.
We did too good of a job flattening the curve, I think.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to remind people it's not if, it's when. It's not if, it's when. And the whole point of the flattening the curve is not to overwhelm the hospitals. And I think we did too good of a job. I mean, we pat ourselves on the back. I mean, we did a great job. But we did too good. I'm fearing we did too good of a job. If I could sound morbid.
But you know what? All these models that come out, there was another one that says October, November, 80 billion people are dying or whatever. I don't even know the numbers anymore. And it's like, but you don't know that. Like, every model that they've shown has had some type of variable that has fucked up something. Yeah. So those numbers are never correct. And it's
it's only as good as the data that's put into it.
Correct. And the data is awful. It's awful.
And we're working with something we know hardly anything about. I mean, something that pretty much came to our attention the very end of last year. So we've known about it for 4 months. And we're expected to, know everything about it. I mean, hopefully somewhere down the line, a good workable vaccine comes out. I mean, that's, I think, what our end goal is.
Yeah, but look how many people get flu vaccines annually. Look how many people that don't get flu vaccines.
Well, that's because, if the option comes up that says, hey, we've got this vaccine that is credible, I'll go get the damn vaccine.
Yeah.
So hopefully then, I won't get this strain of corona.
Corona.
Where, if you elect to not get it, that's fine. But
if you drink some Corona Light, you don't get the full Corona.
There you go.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and not to go into a big thing, but it's like they're predicting all this shit. It's like nobody knows how this is going to react. Like Jeff said, you have no idea. I mean, there's too many variables out there between now and then. So
when we need a Rehoboam, we don't have it.
What did you say?
When we need a Rehoboam, we don't have it.
Anyway,
it's the computer algorithm that predicts everything, and tells you what to do to prevent certain things.
Oh.
I thought that was just watching The Simpsons. Hey, real quick,
sorry,
before
go ahead,
we go forward, we were just talking about sports, and something that caught my attention over the weekend. So on Friday, the Bengals released Andy Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And in the 24 hours period from when he was released till the next day, people had started donating to his foundation, like Bengals fans and fans of his just started donating $14 because that was his jersey number.
Mm-hmm.
And a little over 24 hours, they raised $25,000.
Wow.
And he donated it all to Cincinnati Children's.
Jeez.
So I thought that was really, really cool.
That was.
You know,
as much as anybody want to criticize Andy Dalton's play on the field, his work he did with around Cincinnati and charities and everything, and the AJ or the Andy Dalton Foundation with him and his wife, that was phenomenal. He's a great humanitarian in that aspect.
he is. He seems like a decent human being, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's true. And just to trump what you guys are complaining about, as a Browns fan, I would have taken all the years of Andy Dalton staying quarterback play compared to what I had to live with for the past fucking 20 years.
I like Andy Dalton. I wasn't one of the haters, but yeah,
it's like when you finally got the weapons for him and everything was working out. You guys went to the playoffs, and of course the cheaters blew that up. Or actually, hold on, the cheaters blew it up. But hold on, no, it was your own team that imploded that caused you guys to lose because of
But
But
this is why we can't have nice things with Blake. This is why.
Yeah, you mean not taking 3 fucking knees? Yeah, that's what.
All you got to do is don't fumble the ball, Jeremy Hill. Then nothing else happens.
Oh, hey, Vontez, perfect. Just stay. Don't. Oh, never mind. Personal foul. 15 yards. Sorry.
In other news, Andy Dalton was donating $25,000. Baker Mayfield spent $25,000 in the last 24 hours on a stripper named Andy. So I mean, it all evens out. It works out well.
And that includes the dinner. That includes the dinner check at the Cheesecake Factory.
That's what I was going to say. It includes that trip to Cheesecake Factory or the parking lot behind it. Allegedly.
He seems like such an ass, Baker Mayfield.
He's better than who they had before, Johnny Manziel. Give me Baker any day.
Well, it's a sliding scale.
I like Baker better than Manziel.
I like Baker. I think he could be the guy to pull us out. He's got enough cocky attitude and moxie.
Sure.
He's been the underdog and succeeded wherever he's gone. So that's what we need. And just stay out factory parking lots and
in the last 6 years that you've been on the show, Blake, I think you said the same thing about Seneca Wallace, about Jake Delhomme.
No.
Brady Quinn.
Spurgeon Wynn.
My God.
Oh, Spurgeon Wynn. That's my favorite.
Who else did you say that about? I'm just asking.
Charlie Whitehurst, was he your savior?
Charlie Whitehurst.
Charlie Fry, my man. Charlie Fry.
Buffalo.
My man, Charlie Fry.
Who's that? Charlie Fry. God. But I'm sure Blake is going to work out this well this time. I mean, good news is you had no expectations last year. I mean, you guys were not expected to do well, and you did. You were, and you didn't do well. I'm sure this year totally different.
Hey, we're repeat off-season champions. I don't know what you guys have.
Are you? I feel like the Bengals won.
We won the off-season last year, and from what I understand, that people think we already won the off-season again this year.
Really?
You were the preseason Super Bowl winners.
Correct.
You got a participation trophy.
That's right.
Congrats.
Man.
Yeah, the Bengals were lucky to get one of those last year.
They did, but Mike Brown sold it. He needed money.
He doesn't need money.
No.
Maybe
Right.
after this year, because he spent a shitload of it.
That's right. Hamilton County took it and gave it to him.
Okay,
Yeah.
I paused our podcast here for a second, so give me one. So we're still live. So I just didn't want to go too long on our call recorder. I wanted to make sure it was okay. So talk amongst yourself. We're still on our Skype call. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So we're back in
Hi.
the studio next week.
I'm sorry. What's that?
We're back in the studio next week.
No.
So we're back
Nope.
in the studio in September.
Maybe. I'm hoping June, July. I'm hoping when the libraries go back, maybe. I don't know. So, I will say Skype hasn't been bad, though. I've been pretty happy with it.
Makes me
Yeah.
good and lazy.
Yeah, it's the same thing with work. It's like I woke up today late, quote unquote, and it was like 7:05, and I was still at work at 7:10. So that was really nice. So, there you go. Blake, did they ever say when you're going back into the office?
We're allowed to telework as long as possible. At least I think until for everybody where the childcare opens up and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I go back in tomorrow if I could, tell you the truth.
I go back and forth. There are days that I'm like, I mean, I do like not going in, but it's like there are days it's like it would be kind of nice to, see outside of my basement for once.
Yeah. I actually like my coworkers, so I kind of be nice to see them.
Jeff, was it weird going back in?
Not really.
That's good.
It just everything just even the drive just felt like, oh, it's routine again. I haven't done it in 6 weeks, but now it's routine.
Oh God, it has been 6 weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Your
like-
car's like, what the fuck is this?
I will say the positive is I've gotten out of a lot of get-togethers, so that's kind of nice. Family get-togethers.
Well, you skip those anyway.
I try.
But this gives him a legitimate excuse now.
Yes. Sorry, honey, I would, but we got a podcast. Sorry, my bad. So I will say though,
but there's a pandemic.
I will say that I did the live stream last night, and we got done by 11:30, and I went to bed. And I got up, and like I'm getting things like we were eating dinner tonight. I was like, oh shit, I got a podcast in an hour. Like it felt like since I did one last night, I was like, it's Wednesday, right? We're done. Like it's routine. I don't need to go do anything. Son of a bitch, I do. Hold on, it's taking about a couple seconds here. Still doing it. Jim, do you still have season tickets for the Bengals?
Yes,
Okay. Did you? So you renewed?
I renewed. Well, we cut down some of our numbers. I think Brian and I are going in on 2 seats for the entire season instead of the 4. Or like we had, Brian had half a season last year, so we're just going in and together. So in this way, if we don't feel like going to a game and one of us can go, if we don't both have to, and then trying to sell the tickets. So the last couple of years, it's just been horrendous. It's like I really can't make it. I just want to try and see if everybody want to take these tickets. I'm not even selling, just giving them away, and just the people's reactions like, "Well, how much are you going to pay me?" So now with Burrow being drafted number 1, and there's a little bit of excitement on the way the team's built. Anybody who made that comment to me is never allowed to sit in my seats.
Sweet.
I like it. I don't blame you. Hey, they at least did something in the offseason. I'm happy. They at least did some free agency stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's something they hadn't done in previous years. So.
Jeff, right before we go back on, I'm going to try to find our the box office news for you, and I'll send it to you by text.
I'll be back in just a second. You guys can start it if you want.
Okay. Give me 1 second here, and we can start.
Jason's going to fax it to you, Jeff.
All right, sweet. I'll get my Facsimile. Facsimile.
Fac-
I can never pronounce that word.
Facsimile.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying something new tonight, guys. I did not look at the
Top 5?
outline at all. So
you
I'm
still
going to
don't
make
know-
up everything.
So you still don't know what the top 5 is?
I kind of saw that on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
So I
Okay.
didn't write a list or think about it really. So
Blake, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
Am I on?
You are on. What is that noise?
That's called I don't have a piece of paper.
Oh,
How's that?
better.
Yeah, time for the bomb listener feedback, brought to you by the socialist governor of California's list of things you're allowed to do. From Doug. Rise of Skywalker comes out May 4th. Will you watch the entire Skywalker saga and live tweet it? Well, considering that was yesterday.
I'll say no.
no.
I don't think I'll ever watch all 9 of them in one sitting.
I don't think I'd have to because I'd have to pee.
Well, even with scheduled pee breaks or whatever, I would never.
We had in the house yesterday. We had episodes 4 through 8 on, just because it was on TBS, and I had it on while I was working in the background just to have it. So that was kind of nice. And then my kids had it on all day, just while they were doing homework and everything else, and just hang out, just have it on because it was Star Wars Day. But I don't know if I could get through the first 3 and then be sane enough to watch the rest.
I think 1, 2, and 3 were on Sunday night. So
Good call.
Sunday night to Monday.
No, I'm not going to live tweet anything about Star Wars.
How about the first time you ever watch it? Live tweet it.
That'll never happen.
Oh.
Go ahead. What else we got?
Sean at Pittsburgh Nerd, AMC theaters are aiming to reopen in July. How long before you'll be comfortable going to the movies, or will you be willing to go once theaters reopen?
Anyone?
Or will we bring back Jeff's box office bombs?
I'd be willing to go back as soon as, everything, like if people are going into bars and restaurants, I think theaters aren't going to be any worse, probably even a little better than places like that.
They are probably going to be 50%.
Yeah, especially if they still do the distancing of not putting people sitting next to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then hell, yeah.
Well, can we go like late Wednesday night and just watch movies like before they come out again?
Oh, that would be
Just
nice.
with like 4 of us in the theater.
Jeff, when you were a manager, that was a lot of fun. Can we go back to watching movies just with us, Mystery Science Theatering it?
I think it would be great, but yeah, I don't think the theater would do that. Apparently, they don't even watch them anymore.
They can call and offer our services.
Yeah. Apparently, they don't even make people watch the movies ahead of time anymore.
Really?
I was asking somebody who, somebody I knew who worked there, and they're like, "Nah, yeah, there's that since it's all digital projection now, they assume everything's going to be all right, I guess."
One of the worst ones we had, the problems we had was with the digital one. When was it Wall-E? It was a digital production, and it didn't work.
Well, that wasn't me because I never saw Wall-E.
Yeah, because we only got through the short and it kept on shutting off, so we never actually got to watch it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we saw the short about 3 times that night.
I don't think I've ever seen Wall-E.
I eventually saw it. I enjoyed it. I think it's funny.
Jim, you're starting to sound like Peanuts characters again.
For the first part,
For
the first part, I thought he said the didgeridoo. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Didgeridoo.
Digital. Didgeridoo. Brian, just to let you know, because I know you love it so much, I did on the live stream last night, I did do some impressions.
That's I'm sorry for the guys that were on that stream with you.
Well, the good news is, Brian,
We weren't there.
You won't get to see them because they were talking about Star Wars the whole time, and we know you're not watching that. So
I hate sand.
I don't even know what that is. So
I hate sand.
It's coarse.
It's grainy. It gets
Gets
your butthole.
everywhere.
I think the line.
To actually answer the question, yeah, I'd actually go to the movie theaters tomorrow if they were open.
Blake, would you?
Yeah,
Would you?
I would probably be by myself because nobody else would go with me. But
Yeah, I'd have my mask on and
Yeah.
and wouldn't sit next to anybody and try to make sure I was distanced. But
yeah,
Of course, then you also have to realize that it's, you gotta have a good movie that's out there too. I don't think I'm going to see Trolls 2 or whatever else is coming out. What does come out in July? Anything?
that's the thing, is that now so many movies that were supposed to come out have been pushed 6 months, a year, 2 years. So
Yeah.
when they do open up, what's even going to be available? I mean, I guess they can change it and change the release dates, but
I'll take a look. I want to see what's coming out. So,
I
You
did
know,
want to see
What
that.
it won't be is the New Mutants.
so just to show you how this, and we'll talk a little bit more. But speaking of movies here, so worldwide for 2020, these are the number one films. Bad Boys for Life at 419 million, Sonic the Hedgehog at 306, Doolittle at 223,
Third best movie of the year.
and Birds of Prey at 201. And then after that, Invisible Man at 123 million. I mean, obviously, you got to take into effect a lot of them were not released, but just to see that at the box office right now, it's like, Cheezel Pete. Only 4 movies over 200 million, and we're in May now. Obviously,
God, I remember the days when 100 million was a complete smash success.
yeah. So, go ahead, Blake. What else we got?
let me see from Scab Jeff. Hey, Scab Jeff. He's obviously not listening to the podcast since he's not on it. Let's see. Scooby-Doo live action movie was released less than a year after 9/11, with the scene where they dress Scooby up as an old woman to get on a plane. Now they are releasing an animated version during the pandemic. What inappropriate pandemic scenes will they have? I don't know.
For me, it most likely will be Scooby dressed in his fatigues, carrying his AR-15, and
Protesting.
he'll have his sign that says "Open D's nuts."
Yeah. Hey, for those jackass protesters that are taking their weapons in the fucking protest and all that time, obviously those are like Call of Duty wannabe people and quote unquote, oh yeah, I'm a survivalist, freedom fighter who probably have little to no experience in the real world. And as a veteran and a Second Amendment rights supporter, I get to high five their face first with my hand because those are fucking jackasses. They should, and if they are a veteran that's going there taking their weapons, they should know fucking better and get their asses kicked.
They did. I don't know if we talked about this or not. The
the woman. I mean, that's how I feel about it. Did I forget?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
The woman who led the protests in South Carolina, that they were taking her freedoms. She tested positive for coronavirus last week.
Oh no! Really?
Oh no!
I don't believe it.
Who could have seen that coming?
I thought that was kind of funny. Not that you want anyone to get hurt. Whatever. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. At that point, you know what? You made a bad choice. Sorry. Just real.
3 weeks.
there's
Or
a long list of people.
Or
who
she's
I
smart
don't mind if they
out of the
catch
way.
it.
or was she smart in getting it out of the way? Thank God I got it. Now I'll be free in 14 days.
Or dead. One of the two.
Dead.
Jim, what?
95% chance survival rate.
You said there's a long list of people who I wouldn't mind getting this virus and getting really sick. I'm not wishing death upon anybody, but these assholes who are doing these protests and that shit. Yeah. I hope you do get sick, and I hope you're violently sick for 2 weeks, and then you recover. Then maybe you'll have a little common sense.
Jim, they really need their haircuts, man.
You know, they would have had a level of credibility with me if they protested and kept social distancing. But no, they didn't. So
Some did.
All these people say like, I want to work. Then go get a job at Kroger.
You can work.
True.
Domino's is advertising that they're hiring. So
yeah.
if you really want to work.
Yeah, they're paying for TV time to say we need people to deliver pizza.
Unfortunately, you have to eat Domino's. That's the problem.
You don't have to eat it. You just have to deliver it.
Deliver it to other people.
Yeah.
Real quick on movies being released. The next movie that's in theaters, not video on demand like Netflix or Amazon. The Empty Man in August 7th, 2020. Nothing else between now and then.
Scheduled before August 7th.
The Empty Man.
The Empty Man and the SpongeBob movie.
Ooh,
Same day, August 7th. And Wonder Woman is the following weekend, August 14th. Jeff, you think Wonder Woman gets pushed back again?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think August is a pretty good mark for what I think will probably be allowed to open theaters or whatnot. So
I think it'll have a lot to do with what they do with schools.
Yeah.
If they, if they don't reopen the schools or they push it back or do something like that, then maybe I could see that time.
Well, that's true because schools nowadays open about August 14th, don't they?
Some states, yeah.
Some of the
if they enforce social distancing in cinema, you're not gonna have to worry about some asshole sitting next to you. So that's good.
True. Yeah, I mean, on the positive, if Wonder Woman's the first big film to come out that time and everything's better, it's going to do gangbusters because people will be looking for something to see. So maybe that may not be a bad idea.
Yeah, local cinema has.
Well, it'll do 50% of what it would have done.
Yeah, correct. Number of people in movies. That's why they're pushing back because they want full houses instead of selling half house.
But also something like our local theater has 14 theaters. If they have only Wonder Woman to show, it'll be on 14 screens.
Yeah,
as opposed to 2 or 3 it would normally have gotten.
No, I want SpongeBob on one of those too.
Oh, okay.
Gotta have something for the kids.
SpongeBob on Saturday afternoon, and then
Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe movie's coming out October 23rd.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he going to have lips built into his mask?
I knew that's why I said it. They already greenlit the sequel. They got the sequel, so yay. I mean, looking at the movies, once September hits, I mean, there is decent films coming out. Like, well, in theory, Quiet Place 2. Let's see, Candyman, which is going to get decent traction. Halloween Kills, Snake Eyes, Black Widow, Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Ooh. Do
Godzilla
kids really
versus...
still like Clifford?
My 3-year-old likes the books because we have them from my oldest from when he was little. But
because I thought Clifford was stupid when I was a kid, and I can't understand still.
My issue is who cleans up the shit. I mean, come on. They never mentioned that.
They never mentioned the downside of a dog that big.
That's right. Godzilla versus Kong, Pixar Soul, and Coming to America. Oh, here's Blake's movie, Dune. Dune's coming out in December.
Yeah. Just in time for the holidays.
Oh my God. December 23rd. Tom and Jerry. The cartoon.
Live action?
Oh. I have no idea. It's also the same day The Croods 2 comes out. That's two kids films.
Oh. No one wanted The Croods 1.
That's right. You're going to really grimace here. Top Gun Maverick is out the same day.
I'd rather see that. Of those 3 films, that's the one I would choose.
Ugh. So, I mean, in theory, I mean, they don't have... I mean, once September hits, I mean, it's a pretty decent slate of films, whether you like them or
said-
not. But I mean,
You pretty much said one I'm willing to go to the theater to see.
but I'm talking like in all. I mean, it's films that are, in theory, decent size that should do well.
Films that will attract some sort of audience.
Correct. So, what else we got, Blake?
Next we got Dev, best Chris Rock movie, early 2000s.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look this up because it's not Head of State, so that's the only one coming to mind.
Yeah.
The only two.
I'm gonna get you, sucker. I think it was released before the 2000s, but that's my vote.
How much for just one rib?
Got change for 100?
I'd say The Longest Yard.
I was just going to say that. I just saw that on IMDb.
Wow.
Or grown-ups.
Oh, geez, if those are the best, then there might not be
So-
one.
The 2000s were rough for him.
So you got Madagascar, Head of State, Death at a Funeral, Grown Ups Longest Yard, Down to Earth. I think I Love My Wife.
That one didn't look bad, but I never saw it.
Bad Company with Anthony Hopkins. The helicopter went backwards.
Yeah, that was the movie I put together in the wrong order.
Osmosis Jones. Oh, here you go. Pootie Tang came out in 2001. Pootie Tang.
It's Pootie Tang. Definitely Pootie
All
Tang.
the way. Pootie Tang, all the way.
Pootie
And
done it again. Pootie done it again.
Oh,
And Nurse Betty.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay, so which one is it?
Pootie Tang.
I think I'm going Longest Yard, Brian. I'm with
Yeah.
you. That was on the other night, and I watched most of it. I really enjoyed that film.
Yeah, if there's nothing else on, or if I'm scanning and then I see it, I always stop and watch it.
Yeah. Okay, what else you got, Blake?
Next from Mika Leal. I say, how awesome is Blake's new D&D group? I hear they're pretty cool.
I don't know Blake's new D&D group.
Hey, weren't we just talking about having a mistress and getting busted for it?
Wait a minute.
Earlier-
Are you
earlier
cheating on everybody?
He is. He's getting a new group put together and kicking us to the curb.
Well, see, you're not kicked to the curb. We
Uh-huh.
are still in limbo because I think some peeps don't want to play online in our other group. So I had a thing cooking in the background because when I had talked to Dev, he said he always wanted to play D&D, and Mikael Leal said he always kept rolling up a 3.5 character and group never starting to play. And then I had another buddy that wanted to play, and of course the pandemic broke out, and I was like, all right, you know, I've been boiling the water for a little bit of while. I was like, all right, well, let's do it. And so I got those guys. I got Leal and Big Dev, and I got a buddy in Chicago, fraternity buddy in Chicago, and another old D&D buddy in Illinois, and one of the first online D&D groups in upstate New York playing with us. So we got five guys. You know, we've been trying to get a couple of our peeps. You know, we play with Jeff and Jim to get all in on the in-person, you know, the online thing, but I think they don't want to play online. So, but I was thinking of an interesting crossover where, because I do still have I still do have a player billet open, because there's a slot for 6, you know, with the license that I have. So I was thinking like maybe bringing Jeff and Jim in to play like the boss, the bad boss guys, and see if I could have them try and kill the player characters.
I can't argue that.
I
So you-
do that.
So you've had some sessions already?
Yeah, we've had about 4 or 5 sessions in the past couple weeks.
You've
Nice.
had more sessions with them than you have with us in 6 years.
And yeah, we had people that didn't want to play, and you couldn't even invite us to play with you guys.
Well, dude, it's similar to the campaign that you guys are in because I had everything set up. I just tweaked a number of things. It's like taking up Mikhail Leal right now is the half naked chick behind me in the broadcast.
You know what?
I'm so cheated on right now.
I've been trying to get a couple of other peeps going, but I know Jeff and Jim are all in, but some of the other peeps, they just have an aversion to not playing online, I think, and we tried to.
No, the problem is Sean McMahon cannot figure out Discord.
I was not going to try and name names, but
he doesn't listen.
Okay.
My question is, how come I wasn't invited, Blake?
Wow, Discord's the easier part to figure out.
I will not inform Blake that we've been playing with Nikki.
Yeah, don't tell him that.
Have you been playing with Nikki from New Zealand?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know you guys have been playing with Nikki and Meow God. Yeah, it's fine. All right.
No, Meow. No, when we were doing with Meow God, we were playing a spy game, and
that's true. And I know Jeff does Roll20. He was doing Roll20 with his Columbus peeps. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for it, man. More we play, let's play. That's fine.
Hey, Brian. Do you want to get Dungeons and Dragons together with me? Instead of us playing, we just drink. You want to just do that? I'm a dragon. Drink.
All right, so
I'm in a dungeon. Drink.
I'm in a dungeon.
Oh, you playing drinking game, Brian?
Yeah. During that question, I've refilled my glass. I let the dogs out. I made Erica a margarita, and I went to the bathroom.
How is Dr. Dana doing?
She's doing good. She's doing good.
Good, because I'm not done with this question. So, Blake, what kind of what is Michael Leal running in your game?
He is playing an Elven Ranger. Playing the Elven Ranger that he's always been wanting to play.
Excellent.
So I'm trying to help everybody out. So
are they past 3rd level yet?
They just made it to 2nd level.
So they're almost to where we are. Whew.
Let's just say Michael's character is very adept at finding 10-foot pits, 10-foot pit traps.
You mean springing them or finding them?
Into them. I mean, there's only like 2 pit traps on this entire map, and his character's found them both.
Pit traps are to him what tables are to Jim's character.
Correct. Your 1st level characters. These are not laughing matters.
Oh, let's finish it up with Doctor Number 1.
All right. Oh, anyways, from Professor Number 1 and Doctor Number 1. Of the actors who played Finn, Ray, and Poe, which one will have the most successful career? So you're going to compare them to Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, right?
So who'll be the Harrison Ford of this group, is what they're saying?
Yeah, who will be the Harrison Ford of this group?
Oscar Isaac.
Poe?
He's done up so far. I'd like to see Daisy Ridley and John Boyega and other things, but
yeah,
if John Boyega does become the next Bond, that would be awesome.
I could see that.
I like Daisy Ridley. I like
them all, but I mean, for the simple fact of the matter is, Oscar Isaac is already doing a wide variety of roles as it is. So, I mean, Daisy Ridley, I think the only thing I've seen that she was in outside of the Star Wars was the Murder on the Orient Express, and I can't think of if I've seen John Boyega in anything outside of Star Wars.
Pacific Rim Uprising.
I haven't seen it.
He was in The Circle.
I don't even know what that is.
He had a Netflix movie that came out like right when he first started acting that was actually really good, but I can't remember the name of it.
He was in Attack the Block. Detroit.
Oh, Detroit was actually really good.
I heard that was. I never got a chance to see it though. Yeah, that's all I have right now for him. So, I would say Oscar Isaac's probably going to be your bigger one. I don't know if any of them really break out though as the next big thing. Like I don't see that happening. I don't know. That's just me.
Give them a couple years to grow out of these characters and see what happens. Because it took Harrison Ford 3 years for Indiana Jones. Wasn't the first Indiana Jones like during the 1980 or something?
I think it was 81.
81.
Yeah, it was a year after Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. So it may take a little while.
And they originally didn't want to cast him. They were supposed to get what's his name, Thomas Magnum.
Tom
Selleck.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, what, for Han Solo? No,
for Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, you're right. So, but hey, that did save Quigley Down Under for him.
Yeah, you're right.
Wait, are you guys saying Harrison Ford's the most successful? I don't know. Mark Hamill was Cockknocker.
We'll put it this way.
Kevin Smith talk.
We'll put it this way. Harrison Ford didn't have to be in a Kevin Smith movie where the other two were.
John Boyega has nothing coming out except he has one film, Naked Singularity. I don't know.
I thought you said Naked Single Larry.
Yes, Naked Single Larry.
Jason, pronounce that again. What was the name of that movie?
Daisy Ridley has Chaos Walking.
What's the name of that movie? I want to see Brian Drake.
Naked Singularity.
Singularity?
Singularity. I think I got that right. Right?
I think your emphasis is on the wrong syllable.
Oscar Isaac has Dune and Big Gold Brick.
Is he playing the what's his name in Dune? The main
Duke Leto Atreides.
Yeah, he's playing Atreides.
Oh yeah.
Atreides.
Let's see here. We're running late. It doesn't matter. Jeff, give me some news of the geek intro.
It's time for another installment of the news of the geek.
Basically, the Sith in Star Wars are no longer having just two, because originally they said in the Phantom Menace there's only two of the Sith, one by one, whatever.
The rule of the two, or whatever they call it. Stupid rule.
They officially got rid of that. That was
I liked reading the story. They said, but pretty much they're retconning it, saying it was just a mistranslation of the old Jedi texts or something. They misunderstood what they were trying to say in the Jedi texts. They were ruled by two, not a rule of two.
We were talking about this last night with Brad on Cinema Guys, and he's like, the issue with this is that the Clone Wars, the cartoon, has had like 6 or 8 Sith at a time. So he's like, they never adhere to that rule.
They had to change it.
Let's see. Per Deadline, X-Men Dark Phoenix was a flop. But
what?
I know. With a $200 million budget, the movie eventually ended up losing over $133 million. It is the biggest box office bomb of 2019. The fans did not hate it, the ones that saw it, but they just were not interested in seeing another version of the Dark Phoenix saga.
The biggest problem with that was it wasn't released until after Disney bought it, so you knew Fox was going to be making these movies, so they're still putting it out, but it's the end of the line. And God, honestly, after the previous Apocalypse, Apocalypse was probably one of the worst superhero related movies I've ever seen.
I still watch that when it's on just because of how bad it is. I still, it's like, oh God, this is horrible.
Dark Phoenix was okay, but it wasn't good enough to get people to go out to see.
There's something. This was per deadline. I didn't realize this. It was supposed to be a 2-part series film. It was supposed to be broken into 2 films.
I believe it. It was.
I mean, it could have been.
There was a lot to it, and it did feel like they rushed through at certain points. And
Was it better than X-Men: The Last Stand?
I think a lot was better than X-Men: The Last Stand, except for maybe Age of Apocalypse. I think Dark Phoenix was better than The Last Stand.
Okay. But Bobby becomes Iceman, like truly becomes Iceman in The Last Stand.
I mean, it had some moments, but that's it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Also, this is for Blake. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Can you hear me right now? Because
yes.
I had to drop out and switch because my headphones battery died. So I had to switch mediums here.
Yes, we hear you.
Yep, you're good.
Excellent.
Yep,
what did I
good.
miss? What did something? Question?
Did you see the
Nothing.
Vikings are coming to Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, I saw that. It's pretty neat. I haven't played Assassin's Creed since Assassin's Creed 2, but aren't they backtracking in time? Are they going backwards?
Yes.
Weren't they at the Revolutionary War?
They just skip around to different eras, whatever era seems Q at the time.
Oh, okay.
I played the Egyptian ones. The Egyptian one. That was okay, but it was too much magic. Like it started doing too much fancy with it. But I'm interested in this one, playing a Viking and you're attacking the knights of in Camelot. I thought that was kind of an interesting idea.
The Knights
To the
of
round table, we dance, we're able.
Just a model. Jinx. This one looks good though. It's coming out this year as usual, probably October. But I think I might get this one. It is interesting though that they're releasing. This could be one of the final big games for PlayStation 4 because the PlayStation 5 comes out this year, at Christmas time.
Oh, too soon.
I expect a PlayStation 5, Jason.
What's that, Jim?
I expect you to get me a PlayStation 5.
I think all of us do, right? That's our Christmas bonus.
Our Christmas bonus. Yay!
We can use some of this small business loan that we get.
Okay, Jim,
to get the Switch on my own this year.
Jim, if you can talk my wife into letting me buy one for each of you, I will. You talk to her.
I don't give a fuck about these other guys.
Okay. Jim, if you can talk my wife into buying you one with me, yes, I will do it.
I think I can convince your wife.
If we get a couple more stimulus payments from government, I will. Let's go.
Have another child.
God, no.
There's a couple of bills that I was reading about earlier that are being introduced. So
there was one that they were trying to talk about $4,000 a month for married couples and $2,800 for single for 3 months.
4,000, I think.
2,000, 4,000 for 3
months.
For 3 months. Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to get close to passing, but something will in theory. So
honestly, I think that money, instead of going to people who are still working, they should put it in to fix the stuff with unemployment. That how people can't get it, and there's problems with that. Because honestly, people who are still working don't really need that.
Mm-hmm.
And all they're doing now is printing money and putting it into circulation. And when this all comes back to a head, inflation's going to be ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, didn't they say it was like $3 trillion? Holy moly!
Yeah. So instead of let's just throw more money at people.
Yeah, we're going to be like $30 trillion in debt. We're going to be like a third world country.
But I need a new tiger, so I need this money. I need more tigers. He's lonely. Jeff, did you get my box office news?
Oh yeah, it's time for that now.
Let me get you. It's time for the box office news and world report with our reporter in the field, Jeff Now. I'm Kevin Spacey.
Never do that.
Thank you, Kevin. The box office for May 3rd, 2020. Number one, we have The Wretched at $12,605. That is down 53% from what I don't know because I didn't know it was out last week.
Total of 65,000.
And number two, The True History of the Kelly Gang, which was last week's number one, is at $2,726. That is down 52%.
It made a total of $28,612 so far. So, drive-thrus are opening up in Ohio this week, this coming weekend. Yeah. With social distancing apply. So, if you have a transformer, they have to be certain parts away from everybody. But yeah, so in theory, the box office will have more numbers next week, maybe. Jeff, the problem is with this, The Wretched was in 12 theaters, while The Kelly Gang was only in 2 theaters, so it was a little skewed.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, well, let's do our top 5. Jeff, give me a top 5 intro.
Dum, da-dum, ba-dum, bum. Top 5.
Thank you. Top 5 this week is top 5 most annoying storylines in television, past or present. We're trying to do specific ones, but if you want to do general, it's okay. But like from a TV show that you're like, oh, that storyline killed it. So Brian, what do you got for number 5?
My number 5 was Friday Night Lights and Handicap Jason Street.
I don't know who Jason Street is.
You're a big Friday Night Lights.
That is so bad. Let's go to Mexico for this treatment. This
stem cell treatment.
Yeah.
Well, now you mention that, yeah, was that kind of like in Glee when they put what's her name in a wheelchair for a half a season?
Yeah. Well, so like he gets hurt in like the very first episode. He's like the star. It's similar to Varsity Blues. Star quarterback gets hurt in the first episode, and he's in the whole entire arc of the series, but he's just in a wheelchair and he sucks. I mean, he just sucks.
So I know that you guys really love that series.
Yes.
I need to see it. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It's one of my all-time favorite.
It's not like a teen drama thing, is it, right?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that with Riverdale.
But it's not like Riverdale.
It's not like soap opera-y or like, it's about high school kids, so you're going to have high school type stuff, but there's way more to it than that.
Okay.
All right. Well, speaking of Riverdale, that segs right into my number 5 on my list. Number 5, I have Riverdale. The storyline where they decided to update Archie Andrews and his gang into the current 21st century. That was terrible.
So
the entire run of it then? Okay.
Pretty much, yes.
The best thing about us doing this podcast is that our jokes from 6 years ago are still coming back in different forms, because 6 years ago when this was rumored to be started, I'm like, who the fuck cares about Archie now? Why are we doing an update on this?
I was interested. I wanted to see it. And then I watched I watched the first half of season and thought, why did I waste 8 hours or however many episodes I watched of my life of that?
And then I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I am a season and a half behind, though. I got to get caught up. Or not. I think the train sailed. So I don't blame you, though, Jeff. Jim, what's your number 5?
It's a tough one. I'll go The Curse of Oak Island and them only finding buttons. Not finding anything substantial for how many years, and there's no payoff to it.
They found a pair of Levi jeans, Jim. Levi's.
That was left from the crew the previous week.
Lots of buried wood.
That's what
I
she
see what you
said.
said there.
Blake, what's your number 5?
Well, I guess I misunderstood the theme. I was thought it wasn't storylines. I was just going with TV show themes, I guess.
That's fine.
So,
You can do it that way.
but that's fun. I did come up with this on my own, and then after I came up with mine, I looked at some of people's online and the Facebook, and I'm like, oh, some people think like me. But number 5 was nerd guy, old guy, or fat guy in Hot Wife.
Oh, Kevin James' whole reason for living.
We're looking at you, Jim Belushi.
Anything. Jim Belushi, Kevin James. What's his jackass with the nerd shows. Third Rock from the Sun. No, whatever. What the fuck is it? I forget.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory bullshit. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I said, even in movies too, the whole thing. And it was pretty obvious. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, but Larry David. Even though he's still an older guy, it's still like even if he's like 70. She's 50 or 40. With 60 is 40. It's 40, it's 20. All that kind of deal. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Let's see. My number 5 is Seinfeld season 4 when they're doing the pilot episode. They're trying to get the pilot on the air. The stalker. That really annoys me. It's the guy that is obsessed with him. He dresses as a clown. He dated Elaine for a while. Joe Davallo. I forget
Joe
what
Davallo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more I've watched a lot of Seinfeld, and like it's gotten better for me. It's tolerable, but that whole season was a little awkward. There was a lot of good parts, but having that whole story arc was not good. And I really, for one of my favorite shows of all time, I can't get past it.
Well, it's interesting you would bring up season 4 and the Stalker, because season 4 is really when the show took off.
Everything around it, like they started getting their characters down. Like you can see it in the other seasons, like 2 and 3, like they start getting, realizing what's working. 4, I agree with you that it starts coming together, but that whole Stalker approach was really fucking annoying.
It's like where they're like, wasn't that the one where they were trying to scalp tickets at the opera?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's funny moments. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it is a good.
It's just
like there.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it should be in it. It's me and Brian. Sorry, Brian.
You and Brian just starting at the exact same time and stopping.
What's your number 4, Jason?
My number 4 is The Walking Dead, season 2 when they're on the farm. Fuck that season. That whole awful.
Yeah, that was a horrible drag on season that lasted forever.
They had to stay in one spot because they didn't have enough money in the budget basically to go anywhere. So it's like us now. But it just dragged on and nothing was accomplished. Like even the character development was awful that season. And so there was really nothing there. And the worst part is they were looking for Carol's daughter the whole time, and she's in the fucking barn the whole season. Thanks, Herschel. Just say it.
Yeah, and you kind of like knew it too.
Yeah.
You're just waiting.
So that was my number 4. Blake? What's your number 4?
My number 4. This is pretty. I've ranted and raved about this for how many years on the show? Any cop, lawyer, or doctor bullshit show, especially when you got to have 50 of the same fucking cop shows, except, we're going to put it in New Orleans, or we're going to put it in L.A. Same TV title, we're going to put it in Miami. Whatever.
CSI or NCIS?
Yeah, CSI, NCIS, Fireman Local 52, whatever.
CSI Toledo.
Or what about where instead of they take the city and they stay in the city, they just branch off to do fire, police. Hospital.
Exactly. It's like you want to talk about zero originality.
I like the Chicago series. All right.
No, it's not all right.
The Chicago series might be okay. But the Chicago series might be okay. But what about the one set in Seattle? Grey's Anatomy, and then
Station 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's like what's the Private Practice. And there was another
Well,
like
that was the spin-off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
that
she
went
goes
down
to
to LA. But
Yeah,
Is Chi-
special victims unit.
Is Chicago Fire and PD, is that connected to Chicago Hope?
no.
Oh, okay, just checking.
Chicago Med.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One
They're like
Chicago,
in the same
Jason.
universes.
But I mean, well, hell, they just did that. What, the new Rob Lowe was in the new
911.
911 Texas or whatever.
Yep. Lone Star.
Okay.
How long?
Yeah, that's right. 911 Lone Star.
How long until Rob Lowe gets bored and leaves that show? What's
Yeah,
the
really.
over-under?
They're
Wow.
paying too much, so.
Has Rob Lowe ever made it through the entire run of a show?
No, I don't think he has.
Because I'm thinking of shows he's been on, Brothers and Sisters. No.
What? West Wing.
West Wing. Oh, he left that one early.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and
I
Rec
just
came late,
restarted
left early.
West Wing today. Again.
Wayne's World. Oh wait.
What about
Austin
his
Powers?
what about his game show?
Oh, Mental Ninja?
Mental Samurai.
Mental Samurai. That's terrible. I saw about 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, oh god.
Probably the only show that he had that he was in the whole one was the last one on Fox that got canceled.
Fred Savage was one season.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't they get to a second season?
No.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a bad show.
I saw like the first 2 episodes and
Yeah,
It wasn't-
two
it wasn't-
episodes.
It wasn't great, but it was still enjoyable. I mean, it was something on. I mean, that wasn't, horrible. Jim, what's your number 4?
My number 4. How about let's go to The Office and Andy Bernard being the manager.
Those were tough to watch.
That was an honorable mention for me.
Yeah, I think the worst part about it was they made him the manager, and then Ed Helms left to do movie stuff, so he wasn't even there as a manager. He was the manager, but then they wrote him out.
Yeah.
I think that was the worst part.
yeah,
of
when
it.
he went sailing around the world.
Yeah.
Or went down to Florida and then Nelly just moved into his office.
Well, that was funny that she
That
just
was
took his off.
Jeff, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Game of Thrones, the entire Dorne storyline. I mean, I would have rather they didn't put it in there and just ignore Dorne than try to do what they did.
That's where they first strayed away from the books, totally, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. That's where I felt the show falling apart.
God, and it didn't make sense. They. Oh my gosh, Jamie Lannister's story could have been so much better if they didn't do that stupid shit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Brian, what's your number 4?
Staying in Game of Thrones, the Cersei Jaime finale, the way that they killed them off. It sucks so bad.
Yeah, you mean the way they stood there instead of stepping 2 feet to the right and it would have been killed by the falling
Yes,
debris?
exactly. Just like you, I just felt like there was such a buildup. Like they've been so shitty throughout this entire season or series, and it's coming, and it's going to be awesome, and then they just drop some bricks in there.
Yeah, you wanted an epic kill scene
Yes.
for Cersei. You wanted her to die so horribly because she's such a horrible person.
Yes.
It's like-
and
It's much
Jamie
as-
kind of wishy-washy, but
Right.
he did have a redemption story. But yeah,
in which then they turned that around. So,
yeah.
but yeah,
But yeah,
as
you're right.
much as it was fun watching Joffrey die, you wanted to see like 10 times worse.
10 times
for
that.
Cersei.
Oh yeah.
What's your number 3, Brian?
I mean, even if she got her head bit off by one of the dragons, I mean, come on,
Anything better than
anything better than
just
a rock,
the building falling in on
a
them.
falling rock.
Poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, if we would have just stood 10 feet away from where we were standing, we wouldn't even have been killed.
Yeah.
My number 3 was the early relationship of JD and Elliot in Scrubs. Just their kind of back and forth. It was just really kind of annoying. Like it,
Yeah. Where
they were hooking up, then they were best friends, and then they started hooking up again, and then they were just, I don't know. I'm in the middle of rewatching that, and I'm like almost to season 7, and that's like one thing that really stuck out to me. That kind of is like current with this top 5. So
yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if they just stuck with one direction and kept going that way.
Yeah.
Jeff, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Laverne and Shirley moving to Los Angeles.
It's kind of funny you bring that up because I think in this long quarantine, they actually played that first show. They get fired and laid off at Shots, and they go there, and I watched it. I watched it because
it was bad.
Because it was bad, but I had to watch the beginning and with the new characters, the way they introduced them, and I was just like, God, this really sucks. And then trying to bring some old characters there, and
they brought everybody. It's like, okay, Laverne and Shirley are moving along with Lenny and Squiggy and Carmine. And Mr. DeFazio and Edna. I was like, the entire group moved.
Yeah, it was stupid. I was really upset. Yeah, I had to hate watch it.
Like you were saying that they replayed in that. Did you see what CBS did on Sunday night? They had Sunday Night at the Movies, and they used the old school CBS logo like back in the 80s and 90s, and they replayed Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the ratings came in, and it was up 10% than what their previous shows were on that night, on Sunday night.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I thought that was kind of cool, though. You might as well do something like that. I was flipping through, and I saw that Sunday night. I was like, okay, I can get behind that.
Did they really refer to it as Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I don't know.
Because that bugs the fuck out of me.
Instead of just Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Instead of the title of the movie?
Yeah, I think they did do Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I just did it. Sorry.
No.
Sorry, Jeff, to bug you.
I think you did.
Blake, what's your number 3?
My number 3, really tired of nerdy, ugly duckling turn queen or king. And everything works out happily in the end.
That's in TV and movies.
Yeah. It's just like, come on. That whole thing is so played out.
The she's all that factor.
Yeah. It's so many different. Yeah, exactly. Same thing. It's a bet. I'm going to make them popular or whatever. And then they get exposed. Oh, it was only a bet. You really didn't really like me. No, but I did really like you now. And then you fall apart, and then they all get back together at the very end. And it's like, guys are so played. They've done it with the ugly guy. They've done it with the ugly girl. And then they've redone it, and they've done it again.
But she's got glasses and overalls and paint on her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Jim, what's your number 3?
My number 3, I'll go with The Simpsons. I'll go Lisa episodes.
Oh, yeah.
I like Lisa episodes.
They get kind of preachy.
Oh, they definitely do.
I think the first instance of that, Jim, was the Bleeding Gums Murphy one. Oh,
first season.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was like about season 4 or whatever, and they kind of had
the trivia.
Yeah, the
Name
trivia.
2 popular characters that died during season 1. If you said Bleeding Gums Murphy and Dr. Marvin Monroe, you would be wrong because they were never popular characters.
Jim, I think you can appreciate my number 3. Eddie on A Million Little Things. Trying to go back to the lake house and wondering how his girlfriend died in the canoe. Fuck that. Oh,
terrible.
My God.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that
My
was
wife
terrible.
actually reminded me of that at dinner tonight because I was telling her what the top 5 was. She's like, "Oh, you got to put the Eddie
I thought you were
storyline."
going to throw the Theo storylines in there.
Fuck Theo. Fuck that.
Well, how would you get a good Toady song out of that? Come on.
They didn't even use a Toady song.
They should have.
Oh my God, Eddie is a horrible character. Like he's a horrible human being, and so it's like, no, I don't care. He's going back to his lake house, his parents' lake house or friend's lake house because his girlfriend died 20 years ago. Who the fuck cares?
And
Let
he's
it
now
go.
just like remembering things.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I've only watched 3 episodes this season because I'm so annoyed.
You have to keep watching, Jim. You have to. Please, for my sake,
Jim,
do
did you
it.
see the episode where they lost the dog?
Oh, God.
Everyone takes off
Everybody
work.
needs to take off work and find this doll.
Hey, he's in the garage. You called that from like, oh, I don't know. The dog walked in the garage and then they turned around and it was gone.
Who's the one character from the guy that was on Psych? What's his character's name?
Gary.
Yeah, no wonder he got fucking fired from his job. He was never at work. Of course.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He's too busy helping all his friends at any time of the day and night.
I can't wait until when this quarantine's over and we get to live a million little things with Jason's family and we can just insert our lives into theirs.
Could you, Jim? Please do. I've missed you guys so much. Hey, Jim, can you take off work? My dog's missing. Oh, she's in the backyard. Never mind. There she is.
Jason, I've been distraught
And
these
just try
last
to
couple.
let the be in the back.
I've been distraught these last couple of weeks seeing your family go on hikes and knowing I should be there.
I know you should be. You know what? I do tell my kids, okay, guys, look for Jeff. He's in the woods somewhere. He's 6 feet away.
He's just social distancing. Oh, that would be interesting, watching A Million Little Things, the social distancing, where they can't get together.
They would all get COVID just to be together.
No, then everyone actually would kill themselves.
No. Gary gets COVID, so they all have to get it. If you're in the hospital, we're all in the hospital. You're destroying the healthcare system. Go away. Unless Theo got it, then they wouldn't give a shit. Let's see. Fucking God. Fucking thing. Number 2 for me, I'm going with Friends. And I'm not a huge Friends fan, but I've been having it on background while I work at home. And Phoebe's mother storyline is a fucking annoying piece of shit. I like Phoebe at certain points. Yeah, and then her trying to find, then she finds her father, her twin sister. Oh my God. Pretty much anything with her family is fucking annoying as hell. So.
But her grandma was played by Mrs. Roper.
I don't care. It was it's a horrible storyline. And this is actually that mother story.
What a brother.
Yeah, what about Frank Jr.?
Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't mind her brother in it. I actually don't. I thought that was okay. But so here's the funny thing. That Phoebe's mother storyline is the reason for my inspiration for the top 5 this week. That was the reason I came up with it. Is I'm watching. I'm like, fucking God, her whole family. So, Jim, what's your number 2?
I'll go to a show that I recently just rewatched all of. I'll go to Cheers. And I'll go to the Sam and Diane relationship after they split up and why he would keep dating or keep attempting to date her. It was just so, every episode was the same. And it got so annoying. I'm glad she left the show.
Yes.
Well, my number 2 is also Cheers, Sam and Diane, but more specifically, the finale when Diane came back and almost lured Sam away and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, is that how it's going to end? They're going to have Sam leave? And I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. There's no fucking way this character would follow her again.
He stayed, didn't he, at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
He stayed.
Yeah. Jim, I did the same thing. I started rewatching Cheers, and I think I was into season 3, and I had to skip it till Rebecca got there. I couldn't do it. She is a horrible character. So Blake, what's your number?
That her character did, it brought Frasier in.
Yeah. Who brought Lilith in, which I loved Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Paul though. Paul was my favorite.
Paul
or Phil.
Blake, what's your number 2?
My number 2, the whole either episode and/or season or an entire series. It was just a dream.
Ah.
I hate when that shit happens.
So you didn't like St. Elsewhere?
Yeah, so it never really happened.
Dallas,
Bobby Ewing,
Roseanne.
What else was there? Newhart.
Requiem for a Dream.
Or even
for a dream. No, that was a nightmare.
Or even I hate when like they'll do just a sequence where they're showing you something and then the person wakes up like, oh god, that was just a dream. Like even just for like a 5-minute intro to a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're thinking, oh my god, what's going on? Oh, it was just a dream. Oh, really?
So
then the longer it is.
Yeah, or completely disrupting the concept and storyline. You're like, oh, well, okay. And then it's like, oh, it was just a dream. That's basically what it's going to be. Bernard's going to wake up and the whole Westworld thing was just a dream.
I still think that's what's going to happen with The Walking Dead.
Oh, with Rick.
Rick's just going to wake up in the bed.
Rick's going to wake up, or Carl?
Yeah, one of the two of them, yeah.
How about Rick wakes up?
Gonna wake up in the hospital.
Right, yeah, in their hospital bed.
Yeah,
coma.
Rick wakes up in the hospital, and it's actually zombies are there. So we have to do the whole cycle again. That's all it is.
And they just kill him, and it's over.
Well, you saw how well that worked for Life on Mars. The whole, it's a dream.
Yeah.
Because everyone loved that ending.
You're a big fan of that one. Brian, what's your number 2?
My number 2 was the season 5 of The Wire, where they make up a fake serial killer. I don't know if you guys have watched The Wire, but
I haven't. Sounds bad.
Sounds like one of those cop, lawyer, doctor shows I avoid.
It's about it's the premise of it is they're Baltimore cops where they're trying to arrest like the major drug dealers in Baltimore. So it's like right when the like cops and feds were able to wiretap people. That's like kind of the basis of the whole show. But the end, like at the beginning of the last season, they get shut down because they don't have enough like evidence or whatever to keep going. So this one character, the main character, Jimmy McNulty, he creates a fake serial killer to get them to give them more resources, and then he takes those to use it to keep the wire going. It's like, if anybody has seen it, I mean, they'll get what I'm talking about. But it just, like, the first 4 seasons are awesome. Like, some of the best TV I've ever seen. And then that started off in 5, and I'm like, fuck, why?
I'm afraid to ask, by fake serial killer, does that mean he was killing people, or?
No. So he was manipulating dead, like, corpses, like unidentified or Jane Doe, John Doe, like in the morgue, and he would do stuff to make it look like they were murdered,
Connected.
And yeah, so like it was like he was creating work for himself so he could keep going to try to get to figure out how he could keep the wiretap going so that they could bust the people.
It's a really bad coroner in Baltimore then. Doesn't know if they're dead or not.
Well, everything in Baltimore is terrible. So.
Didn't you hear Trump?
Yeah. Jeez.
What's your number 1, Brian?
Then my number 1, I HOBI'd it. It's the Deb falling in love with Dexter.
That's also my
and
number one.
The last season of Dexter, just in general.
I've seen that on a lot of lists.
That's
online.
I mean that's another one of those where up until the last season, one of my all-time favorites, and then like right in the shitter for the last season.
Yeah, the Deb suddenly realizing she's in love with Dexter. It's like,
right,
dude, he was raised as your brother. You're not in love with him,
right? And
it went over terribly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Blake, it goes to you now since Jeff is 2-1. We're already taking on the off board.
You know, my one thing that really annoys me is like something happens like in the pilot, and they're in this like magical place, and you go, "Hey, they must be in purgatory," and they're like, "No, they're not. They're not in purgatory." And you waste 7 seasons, and at the very end, oh yeah, it was purgatory.
Okay, it was 6
Don't
seasons.
do it, Jeff. Don't take the bait. Jeff, don't take the bait.
It felt like 7 seasons.
Jeff, I'm going to mute you, okay? It's like in football. Don't be the second person to get called, okay? You're going to get the flag.
One that started it. Don't blame me.
You're going to get the flag, Jeff. Don't do it.
You only had to watch the pilot of Lost in the last episode.
I warned you,
everything
Blake.
in between.
Like,
didn't matter
Everything
at all.
in between was great television. Well, not everything. There were a couple of weak episodes, but
and plot lines that never went anywhere.
they all.
But I watched all 6 fucking seasons. There you go.
Jeff, stop it.
Tell Blake to stop it.
Yeah, but then Blake, it's your own fault. You went on to watch that show that he did, Damon Lindelof did on HBO. The what is that? Meatloaf? What was that?
Leftovers.
The Leftovers. Yeah, I had to hate watch that too.
Whatever. Jim,
I had to watch all 3 of those seasons. Thank God it was half as long. Same thing. Just watch the pilot and the very last episode. I think I've discovered Lindelof's secret.
Is that what you did for Watchmen too?
No, I actually really enjoyed the Watchmen, to tell you the truth.
Till the 2nd season, Jeff, and then he's going to bitch about that. but yet you've watched 18.
Yeah, there's going to be one in theory.
But yet you watch 18 seasons of Oak Island and don't get pissed off. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Because I know exactly what I'm going to get when I watch that. I'm going to get nothing but disappointment and failure and buried wood.
Jeff, tell me step back. I need to step back. I took the bait. Jim, what's your number one? Give me that.
My number one, again, this is kind of HOBI'd. It's kind of a bunch of shows. It's when they bring in the little kid to make be cute and try and redo it after the kids have grown.
7.
And what's that?
Like 7.
Like 7.
Cousin Oliver.
And the worst one all is Gracie Bell Taylor. They try to make her cute, and she's the ugliest baby to be on television.
What was that from?
That's Friday Night Lights, Jason.
Oh, okay.
The ugliest child ever.
Breathtaking?
Oh, truly breathtaking.
Truly breathtaking.
It's bad. Sorry.
We would watch. We were watching it when it was live, when it was first coming out, and every time they showed her, we would just scream.
Let's see. My number one was Sons of Anarchy season 3 when they go to Ireland. Sons of Anarchy might be one of my favorite shows of all time, and that's season 3.
A motorcycle gang that picks up and moves all their bikes and everything to Ireland.
They did.
No, they didn't move their bikes to Ireland.
Oh, I'm sorry. They got
new
Vespas
bikes
there when they arrived.
So their original.
They have a Belfast chapter.
Yes.
And they are in bed with the IRA.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, that's the whole backstory to the main character.
It was not a good season, though.
It wasn't bad.
Oh, see, that season almost turned me off from watching again because I hated it so much. And then, like I said, I love the rest of the series, but that second season or third season might be the one of the worst. And it might be, you know what, Brian? The problem is it might be because the second season was so damn good.
Yeah, I mean,
Henry
I can see
Rollins. That might have been it. And maybe I have to go back and watch it the third season again. But
I
mean,
will say, so I rewatched that probably like 6 months ago,
mm-hmm.
and I will say the one thing about it that that I took away from it was there was a lot of backstory, like history about like his dad and Clay and his mom, and that they really tied together. That kind of made made more sense to me,
because
the things that they were doing or what was happening.
Because third season is when he learns that his dad may have been murdered, right?
Yes, that's when he starts. That's when he gets his dad's book or that,
Note.
and then
yeah, and he almost made out with his second cousin or sister.
His sister, yeah.
Ugh. Let's see.
So
that was my number one.
They're just taking plots from Star Wars now.
Or Game of Thrones.
Well, real quick, we'll just go through these honorable mentions. I had Andy's transformation in Office, like Jim said earlier, and I had Parks and Rec when they did a 2-year gap. I didn't really like that.
The time jump at the end.
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
Was it 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the reason they did that was because they didn't want to have to do baby stories since she was pregnant with triplets when the previous season ended. They didn't want to have to do baby stories. So
Nope.
That's Gracie Bell.
That's breathtaking. Brian's showing us the picture. Oh, honorable mentions real quick.
I had the How I Met Your Mother, all of it.
All of it.
All of it. I had season 5 of Orange Is the New Black. It's the prison riot, and the entire season takes place over 3 days.
Yeah.
That kind of sucked.
So we are 1 hour away from finishing our the final season. We have 1.5. We got the last episode. Orange Is the New Black. I thought about. There was some seasons really, really bad and some really, really good, and so it's up and down.
Yeah, that was just the one thing. Like nothing really about that show was like annoying to me. Like it was good, but just like that whole season I feel like they just wasted a whole season. Yeah. And they could have just had like the first 3 episodes could have been that, and they could have done so much more with it. Yeah. And I had one other, which I don't know if you've watched The West Wing, but it was Toby when they had him leaking the classified information. Yeah. It was just that's annoying to me because like just his character, the way that they've written him, that's the complete opposite of something he would do. Like he would never do that. So,
Jeff, any honorable mentions?
I had Glee when like several of the characters graduate and then they go follow them to New York, and it's like, no, you're a show about a high school Glee club. Just stay in fucking high school and have new students come in every year.
Yeah,
but they had to show Lea Michele.
They did. She
was the star.
Yeah,
it was the face that made the place.
She was already on the show for like 5 years. They already stretched 2 seasons into one school year. It's like time for them to move on.
Yeah, a couple of things that I had seen online had mentioned Glee, and the biggest one that I saw was the school shooting. Was one that was on like a few lists. I don't
Glee
remember
school
seeing
shooting?
it. I didn't really watch most of Glee. I watched some of it, but I don't remember that. But I saw that pop up on some lists.
I don't remember school shoot. That
Uh,
must have been a later season when I stopped watching.
That was later.
well, that just goes to the the old setups where you're watching comedies and stuff, and they have like different strokes, special
Very special episode.
very special episode
Don't
where
don't let the big guy molest you.
yeah, or the drugs or molestation, stuff
The
that just really
Family
brings you
Ties,
down.
very special episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Uncle Ned's drunk.
That
Blake,
damn
did you-
Tom Hanks.
Any other honorable mentions, real quick?
Yeah, I have. Oh, yeah, I have. Let's see. Weeds. Everything after like the first season and a half.
Yep. Yep.
I have L.A. Law. I'll have the Benny character, Larry Drake.
Oh, the fact that
When
he
they
became
fly-
a main character.
Yes. And then I have any Shonda Rhimes show.
Oh, I enjoy How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, now she
Man.
won't come on the show. You're awesome.
I've tried to get into how to get away with murder, but I couldn't do it.
I got through the first season. That was it. I couldn't do it either.
I think I watched like the first 7 episodes, 8 maybe, no more than that. But
I will say, since I normally don't binge watch shows, that's like the one show we just recorded an entire half season and then binge watch it over a weekend. So it's not like, I think I would have not watched it if I had to watch it week to week and had it drawn out.
I gotcha.
Our listeners had some good ones here. Doctor Number One. I saw a show on YouTube where one of the hosts thinks his impressions are good. Unfortunately, they all sound the same. Storyline ruins an otherwise enjoyable show.
100% agree.
That's the cinema guys. Let's see here. Kevin, since the Explorer, in no particular order, the last half of the last episode of How I Met Your Mother, Andy's transition on The Office, Ross and Rachel's entire relationship on Friends. That's a good one, but I hate both those characters, so it didn't matter.
I would say
for
I
me.
didn't mind like the early parts, but once they broke up, they shouldn't have had them on again, off again, and again.
The character Mandy on the first season of The West Wing, and
Oh,
the entire last season of House of Cards. Niecy from Niecy at 72. In no particular order, Friends, Rachel dating Joey. The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Walking Dead specifically, zombies. That story goes nowhere. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, the alternate reality thing.
I could see that. I enjoyed it, but I could see how it would annoy people.
Riverdale, Archie's defunct music career.
Riverdale, the whole existence.
How dare you? How I Met Your Mother, the final season. Mom's dead? Let's see.
See, I liked the final season. I just didn't like the final episode.
The entire thing is that they knew this is how they were going to end it.
Yeah.
And that makes it so bad.
They actually chose to do it.
And
Brian,
they chose to stick with it.
Yeah.
Brian MVP Hour had splitting of Team Arrow on the show Arrow. The Inhumans, the whole first season. Jeff's favorite show.
No, it was not.
A-Team Season 5, working for the government. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., time travel to the future season. And Battlestar Galactica 1980, should have left it dead. Let's see here. We also have, hold on, we got a couple more and then we can wrap this sucker up here.
How about any TV show where they try and revamp an old TV show, but with new and updated characters?
Dragnet,
the
Ethan
new
Embry and
Battlestar
Ed
Galactica?
O'Neill.
Did you say Ethan Embry as Ed O'Neill?
No, with Ed O'Neill. The Ditman's wife said, "Does House Hunters count?"
Yes, it does.
John Burke has COVID-19. Man, they just can't move on from this story. I hope it doesn't end like Dallas and it's all a dream.
Yeah, the news.
Your sister, Jeff and Jim's sister, Friends, Rachel and Joe's romantic relationship. Number 4, Dallas, the dream season. 3, Dexter, Deborah and Dexter's romantic relationship. 2, Roseanne, the Connors winning the lottery. And number 1, the end of How I Met Your Mother, Ted ending up with Robin. Let's see here. The side guy did worst tropes in TV because I can. Wait a minute. This sounds a whole lot like Blake's. Hot wife and dopey and/or fat husband. That's right. I'm calling you out, Kevin James. Special topic episodes, musical episodes, blue collar worker that just can't catch a break, an old guy that doesn't fit into modern society and must learn to adapt with the help of a token minority. Honorable mention: nerds, race being the key to the premise of the show. Let's see here. Joseph Campbell. He had any DC show on the CW network.
Ooh! Shots fired.
You're lucky I didn't bring Black Lightning into this.
I don't know what that is anymore. My Batwoman review's up on nerdly.co.uk, so check that out. It's a show that doesn't suck.
Hey, Jim, isn't the guy that's in Black Lightning, isn't he Vince's dad in Friday Night Lights?
Oh, I was going to say anything that Cress Williams has ever done.
Cress Williams. Yep. Okay. Yep. All right.
Bad idea of the week. The New Mutants movie.
Cress Williams in a TV show?
I like Jim.
I've got a bad idea of the week.
Hold on. Cress Williams in a TV show. Number 5012. Go ahead, Brian.
The New York Post needs to hire a new editor for their headlines. I don't know if you guys saw it, but so John Cena is still doing Make-A-Wish appearances. So the New York Post tweets out, John Cena surprises Make-A-Wish kid with cancer. So if you go find the tweet and read the reviews or read the replies, like there's not enough going on in the world. You got to give a kid fucking cancer. Way to go, John Cena. It is amazing.
Bad idea 35. Giving the kid cancer.
Make-A-Wish giving the kid cancer. That's pretty bad.
I do have a challenge that I want us to take up for next week.
Okay.
There's I don't know if you guys are familiar with TikTok.
I know of its existence.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Jeff.
So the newest challenge floating around is you got to film yourself peeing your pants and post it to TikTok. Like that's like the thing now. It's like taking over TikTok.
If peeing your pants was cool, I'd be Miles Davis.
The grossest thing I've ever heard.
Bad idea.
Oh,
that's two.
A bad idea. Doing anything for TikTok.
Why would you film yourself doing that? That's so stupid.
Because you're like 14 years old and you're bored.
First world problems, man. I'm telling you.
You think you'll get your 15 minutes of fame?
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, but I'll tell you, we're talking about
ran...
TV shows and all that kind of stuff. I think I need to get into Penny Dreadful because Penny Dreadful Los Angeles, let me tell you, Natalie Dormer is looking hot in that, man.
Hot everything she does.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about above her normal hotness. I mean, this is like, I'm going to have to start getting...
I've heard this season of Penny Dreadful was dreadful.
Didn't it just start?
Yeah, like 2 episodes, I think. And
yeah, well, I guess I'll just put it on mute and just watch Natalie.
I heard it pretty much has nothing to do at all, even feel or context. Like,
yeah, I was wondering because that
like
was
how
weird.
How it could even share a title is what I like. Like at least American Horror Story, they had, they were supposed to be horror story type things. This is like nothing to do with.
Hey Blake,
Yes.
you don't have to record it and put it on mute. It's called YouPorn. It's okay. You can just go to that. You don't have to do.
Natalie
Natalie
Dormer's on
Dormer's on there? Holy shit!
Okay, thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back next week. And Roger says goodbye. Oh wait, no, wait, we gotta do titles real quick.
Titles
oh,
for the show.
real quick. Go ahead, Brian.
I had Naked Single Larry.
Had that.
How big do you think my butthole is? The white guy in a sombrero.
Yep, had that.
If I whipped it out, people would have to see it. And actually, that was all I wrote down. I thought I had one more, but those are the only 4 I had.
Jeff, anything else?
I had Says the White Guy in a Sombrero, Naked Single Larry, Lots of Buried Wood, Meatloaf, Nothing But Disappointment and Failure, and Now She Won't Come on the Show.
Jim?
I didn't have any. I didn't really do anything for this episode.
It showed up.
I did this for Blake. I did this one. I love hearing you say jiggle jiggle. Mistresses of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm in a dungeon. It's a sliding scale. There are no rules on Fight Island. Let's see here. Just a model. And my favorite, don't take the bait. Jeff. I do like Naked Single Larry.
I vote for Naked Single Larry.
Naked Single Larry's good.
Change approved. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
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 There we go. Bye, everyone.
You're still recording?